Chapter 2819. Book 1. Zhao Fu. After sensing Zhao Fu's presence, the orb of blood-red qi immediately disappeared. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and grabbed at the air, causing a formless barrier to cover an area in the air. The orb of blood-red qi immediately appeared and ran around in panic, but it was unable to escape. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a smile as he came before the orb of blood-red qi and stretched out his hand. The orb of blood-red qi turned into countless traces of blood-red qi and dissipated, revealing a 30-centimeter tall human head. This human head had messy hair and a savage expression. Its skin was green, and its ears were very long and pointy. There was a meter-long tentacle in its mouth, and it gave off an evil and strange aura. Zhao Fu looked at the thing in front of him curiously and did not know what it was. Seeing that it could not escape, the human head exploded, causing blood and flesh to splatter on the barrier. The other orbs of blood-red qi sensed danger and ran in all directions. Zhao Fu smiled and did not hurry to give chase because he could sense all of the orbs of blood-red qi. Now, Zhao Fu's range was incredibly large and could cover the surrounding 100 kilometers. Unless the orbs of blood-red qi instantly flew out, they would not be able to escape. After waiting for 10 or so minutes, Zhao Fu sensed that all of the human heads had run out after hiding for a while. They were quite courageous. However, none of the human heads dared to stay in the region where Zhao Fu was and instead headed elsewhere in the city. After thinking for a moment, Zhao Fu disappeared. A blood-red qi orb lightly floated to a room and paused for a moment. After sensing that there was no danger within the room, it flew in and passed through the door. Within the room, there was an honest-looking middle-aged man sleeping soundly. He did not notice that a human head had appeared next to him, and the human head gave an evil smile as it gave a strange sound, as if it was chanting a curse. The middle-aged man slowly opened his eyes, and his expression was wooden. He got off the bed and knelt on the ground, and he clasped his hands together. The strange sound from the human head's mouth became even faster, and it gave off a faint blood-red light. The middle-aged man seemed to see something, and his wooden expression became excited and devout. At that moment, the tentacle in the head's mouth stretched towards the middle-aged man's forehead. Just as the tentacle was about to enter the middle-aged man's forehead, Zhao Fu appeared beside the head and grabbed the tentacle. He then vigorously pulling the tentacle out of the head. The human head gave a pained cry, and the kneeling middle-aged man immediately came to his senses. He looked at the blood-red head in front of him with a look of terror, not knowing what had just happened. The human head savagely looked at Zhao Fu before turning and running. Only then did the middle-aged man realize that there was another person standing beside him. It seemed that this person had saved him. Just as the middle-aged man was about to say something, that person immediately disappeared. Within an underground room, a person wearing a blood-red cloak stood on a blood-red altar. In front of him was a statue that was 1 meter tall. It was as tall and skinny as a human, and it wore a cloak. There were many tentacles coming out of its mouth, making it look strange and terrifying. The man in the blood-colored cloak cursed coldly. Bastard! He put away the statue in front of him and prepared to leave the city immediately. His tracks had already been discovered, so he definitely had to leave, or else it would be very dangerous. It was a pity that his plan was going to fail, but as long as he had that statue, he would definitely become a famous expert in the future. Many heads flew in from above and fused into that person's body, and that person prepared to leave. Zhao Fu appeared in that space and smiled as he asked, "What is that thing?" That person's expression fell. He had never thought that Zhao Fu would silently appear. He did not hesitate to fly to the side, and 10 or so heads flew out, giving off evil auras as they flew toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, and a wave of sword energy spread out. 10 or so swords condensed, and he pushed out with his hand. The 10 or so swords gave off immense power as they shot out, piercing through the 10 or so people's heads and causing them to fall from the air. By now, that person had already escaped. Zhao Fu flew out unhurriedly, and looking at the escaping person, He smiled as he said, "You're quite bold. Even if you don't die to me, you'll die to someone else." A sword appeared by Zhao Fu's side, and it gave off immense power as it shot forwards incredibly quickly. That person sensed immense danger and immediately turned and shot out a tentacle from his mouth, clashing against the flying sword. The flying sword was sent flying back and became chaotic, no longer under Zhao Fu's control. Zhao Fu felt quite surprised. What kind of power is this? That person continued to quickly escape, having sensed how terrifying Zhao Fu was. It definitely was not a match for Zhao Fu, and he thought to himself, "Why am I so unlucky? Why has such a powerful person come to such a remote city?" Zhao Fu stretched out a finger and tapped out, sending a wave of sword intent into it. Only then did the chaotic sword regain control and continue to fly towards that person. That person turned and stretched out a tentacle from his mouth, giving off a strange power as it shot towards the flying sword, wanting to use the same method as before to block it. Zhao Fu lightly laughed, and the flying sword shot out a sword light that slashed out, slicing apart that person's tentacle and causing blood to fly everywhere. That person howled and continued to desperately run. Zhao Fu controlled the flying sword to continue flying towards that person. That person called out, "Don't force me, or else you'll regret it." Zhao Fu did not care about that person's threat at all, and the flying sword gave off immense power as it continued to fly towards that person's back. That person looked furious as he threw out the statue and shouted, "Primal Chaos Spirit, Ruler of Chaos, Mighty Chaos God, please protect your believers." Boom! The statue exploded out with boundless blood-red light that quickly spread out like a barrier of light. The massive power sent Zhao Fu's flying sword flying, causing it to lose control and become chaotic. It was not just Zhao Fu's sword that went berserk. Everyone in the surrounding thousands of meters also went berserk, biting, smashing, and howling like madmen. Zhao Fu frowned as he looked at the statue floating in the air and finally understood what it was. This was a godly spirit statue. Most of the godly spirits in the outer world were born from the primal chaos and were innate godly spirits of this world. There were very few of them, but they were incredibly powerful. They were completely different from the godly spirits in the Heaven Awakened world. Zhao Fu had never seen a godly spirit in the outer world before, so he did not know what it was. However, the godly spirits in the outer world had long since disappeared, so how had he encountered one today? Zhao Fu was within the statue's range of influence, but with his willpower, he was completely immune to the statue's influence. Chapter 2820. Book 1, Chapter 265. That person called out, "Look at those people falling into madness. Why aren't you going to save them?" Zhao Fu looked quite startled and lightly laughed. "You think I'm a good person?" That person looked quite surprised as he asked, "You didn't chase after me because I killed people?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "No matter how many people you kill, it has nothing to do with me. Also, you're definitely going to die." That person coldly harumphed and controlled the people on the ground to ferociously charge at Zhao Fu like human-shaped beasts. Boom! A massive aura exploded out from Zhao Fu's body, pressing down on the incoming people to the ground like a massive gravitational force. Sensing the power that Zhao Fu had exploded out with, that person looked incredibly panicked. Swords appeared around Zhao Fu, giving off powerful sword energy as they pointed at that person, and Zhao Fu stretched out a finger. Shing, 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 many swords shot forward at high speed, emitting sword cries. Boom! The statue gave off an intense blood-red light that lit up the surroundings, and the strange and evil power caused people to feel a chill down their spines. The flying swords that Zhao Fu shot out were affected by the blood-red light and became uncontrollable. Zhao Fu immediately sent in an even more powerful sword intent, and only then were the flying swords not affected. They continued to fly towards that person, cutting that person into 10 or so pieces. However, the 10 or so pieces of corpses quickly reformed into a human body and quickly escaped. Zhao Fu felt quite surprised and controlled the flying swords to cut that person into many pieces. However, the pieces of corpses once again reformed and continued to escape. This person cannot be killed? Zhao Fu frowned and looked at the statue, giving off intense blood-red light in the air. It seemed that this statue gave that person undying power, and if he wanted to deal with that place, he had to deal with the statue. Boom! Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and grabbed at the air, and a massive, formless hand giving off a powerful aura grabbed towards the statue. The statue gave off a large amount of blood-red light, forming an enormous blood-red orb of light. It gave off a massive amount of chaotic power and blocked Zhao Fu's formless hand. Zhao Fu's eyes turned cold. He stretched out his hand and slowly clenched it. The invisible hand also clenched the blood-red ball of light. The blood-red ball of light gradually became smaller. The blood-red ball of light struggled with all its might, but it was unable to withstand Zhao Fu's immense power. It continued to shrink until it was only 2 meters wide. Bang! Zhao Fu stretched out his hand and clenched it. The ball of blood shattered, and the statue inside was grabbed by Zhao Fu. Because Zhao Fu didn't care about that person, he had already disappeared. Zhao Fu wasn't interested in him, so he didn't chase after him. The people on the ground who had fallen into a frenzy also regained their senses and looked around in confusion. After picking up the 1-meter-tall statue, Zhao Fu examined its aura and found that it contained a trace of godly spirit source energy. This trace of godly spirit source energy was filled with chaos, and it was most likely the chaos god source energy. Zhao Fu wondered how that person had obtained it. Right now, godly spirit source energy required a large amount of devout soul power to grow. As such, that person had controlled the head to tempt others into becoming devout before absorbing their soul power. That person seemed to have obtained the statue not too long ago, so the godly spirit source energy wasn't very powerful. That was why Zhao Fu had been able to easily subdue it. Zhao Fu looked at the godly spirit source energy, and he didn't know if it was a remnant of a godly spirit's power or if a godly spirit had left behind a portion of its power. If it was a remnant of a godly spirit's power, Zhao Fu would not hesitate to absorb it. The outer world's divine power was quite different and was quite powerful. It was one of the top-tier powers in the outer world, and Zhao Fu didn't want to give it up. However, if it was a power left behind by a godly spirit, and Zhao Fu devoured it, he would definitely offend that godly spirit. The person running away stopped and looked hatefully in Zhao Fu's direction. That statue had belonged to him, and he had obtained it deep within a nearby barren mountain. The Chaos God was one of the ancient times 4 evil gods, and his power was unfathomably terrifying. The person desperately wanted this power because with this power, he would definitely become a peerless expert. Without any hesitation, he became a believer of the Chaos God and helped the statue become more powerful, and his own power would also become more powerful. Originally, he had planned to take things one step at a time. First, he would use the cover of the night to devour some soul power. As long as he became stronger, he would not need to hide and could openly devour the people in the city. Then he would move on to the next city. Following this cycle, he would soon become a powerhouse. However, he had met Zhao Fu today. The head had sensed that Zhao Fu's soul power was very powerful and wanted to devour Zhao Fu's soul power, which was why this had happened. Now that he had the Chaos Divine Domain, he had a portion of the Chaos God's power that would allow him to not die and increase his power. He still had a chance to take back the statue. This person still didn't know what was behind Zhao Fu. If he knew, he would understand that no matter how powerful he became, it would be useless, as Zhao Fu's power would always be more than 100 times greater than his. The person turned and left. After everyone heard about what had happened, they felt incredibly grateful toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu gave a few simple words before returning to the room from before. Looking at the statue in his hand, Zhao Fu decided to absorb the Chaos God's divine power. This divine power was quite special and tempting, and Zhao Fu simply couldn't give it up. As for offending the Chaos God, so be it. A wave of energy covered the statue, causing it to shatter inch by inch. A mote of blood-red light appeared within the statue. This was the chaos god's source energy. Under Zhao Fu's control, the mote of blood-red light flew into Zhao Fu's forehead, and a terrifying chaotic intent exploded out within Zhao Fu's mind. It ferociously swept through Zhao Fu's mind like an ocean, and Zhao Fu immediately stabilized his mind and suppressed this chaotic intent. Only then did Zhao Fu find that ordinary people definitely couldn't absorb and fuse with the chaos god source energy. One had to at least have a peak saint-grade constitution and a powerful will, or else they would be controlled by this chaotic intent and become a berserk monster. Even so, the effects were still quite powerful. Zhao Fu could clearly sense that the heaven-awakened world's divine power within his body was going through great changes, and it was evolving towards an innate godly spirit. Zhao Fu's source energy also became stronger, which was something that very few things could do. Finally, Zhao Fu's #1 evil celestial bloodline was greatly stimulated, making it so that Zhao Fu didn't need the final domain, and Zhao Fu's bloodline directly broke through to the 5th stage. Zhao Fu didn't expect this at all, and he wasn't prepared for it. The evil, twisted, and berserk auras spread out, causing abnormal signs to appear in the heavens and earth. Chapter 28-21. Book 1. Chapter 266. End of Book 1. The surrounding heaven and earth power quickly gathered here, and the sun and moon dimmed. Clouds swirled as a formless pressure covered this place. Everyone looked at the sky in confusion, not knowing what was going on. The expressions of some of the more powerful people nearby fell because they sensed an incredibly dangerous aura, and they hurriedly ran away. Zhao Fu's body continuously gave off a blood-red light and an evil and bloody aura, causing the weather around him to go through massive changes. The sky darkened, and a terrifying aura weighed down on everyone's bodies, making it difficult for them to breathe. Boom! A huge rumbling sound rang out as an incomparably huge insect appeared in the sky. This insect was extremely long and filled the entire sky. Its body was made up of all kinds of insects, including scorpions, centipedes, dragonflies, ants, spiders, flies, beetles, earthworms, and so on. It looked incredibly terrifying, and a crazy, twisted, bloody, and perverted aura it gave off filled this world, causing everyone to fall into boundless terror. The massive, ugly, and terrifying insect slowly swam about in the sky, absorbing the heaven and earth power around it. As it absorbed the heaven and earth power around it, the power that the massive, ugly insect gave off became greater and greater. SSS. The ugly insect raised its head and gave a massive hiss, which seemed to corporeal sound waves that pierced through the entire world, causing everyone's ears to ache. Countless people looked towards Zhao Fu in shock. A terrifying aura flooded towards them, easily covering everything and making it so that nothing could resist. Under this power, everyone's hairs stood on end, and their bodies continuously trembled as if their souls were filled with terror. Everyone felt quite familiar with this evil and bloody aura, and they understood that it was caused by the first evil celestial's bloodline. Everyone's expressions became serious. The first evil celestial's legatee has grown so quickly. I thought it would take him at least 100 years to break through to stage 5. I never thought that he would grow so quickly either. Back then, the first evil celestial took 500 years to raise his bloodline to stage 5, but this person has only used a few years. I don't know what kind of person that person is. If he continues to grow like this, it will be too terrifying. Who knows, he might even trigger something similar to what happened to the first evil deity in the past. The expert from back then has already ascended. Do we still have the ability to stop him? I can vaguely sense that a great calamity is about to befall the primal chaos world. The son of the essence, the blood of the essence, and the successor of the evil immortal have all appeared. Only when the world is in danger will such terrifying people be born. Yes, I also feel that something big must be happening in the primal chaos world. I have been feeling somewhat worried. I don't think much about it. The heaven-awakened world has given birth to such a terrifying heaven-awakened son. Why can't our outer world give birth to an even more terrifying son of chaos? I think you're right. The chaos world should be giving birth to a child of chaos to fight against the child of heaven awakened. It'll definitely be very useful in the future war. I'm not in a hurry right now. The first evil immortal has a huge grudge against the Eastern Alliance. Even if this successor wants to cause trouble, he will first cause trouble to the Eastern Alliance. The ugly worm writhed in the sky, and its terrifying aura continuously spread out. Everyone in the city was so scared that they collapsed to the ground, their bodies covered with cold sweat. This was the most terrifying thing they had ever experienced in their lives. Zhao Fu looked at the ugly worm in the sky. The ugly worm gave off a powerful aura as it dived toward Zhao Fu and fused into Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu's first evil immortal bloodline had successfully reached the 5th stage. Zhao Fu had been waiting for this moment for a long time. He could finally continue to devour worm blood and strengthen the first evil immortal bloodline's power. At the same time, the 8 forbidden blood arts would become even more powerful. Because Zhao Fu had fused with the Chaos God's essence, something unexpected happened. This was a part of the Chaos God's godly soul, and the Chaos God had split off many of these godly souls. After fusing with the godly soul, Zhao Fu understood the Chaos God's goal. The Chaos God was an amalgamation of chaos, and he liked chaos and wanted to see the world fall into chaos. He had a premonition that the primal chaos world was about to face great chaos, so he split off many of his godly souls to lead the world into chaos. Now that the Chaos God was not in the primal chaos world, Zhao Fu was not worried about him. He wanted to devour the other godly souls as well, as the Chaos God's godly souls would be of great help to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu got off the bed and immediately flew away. Not too long later, many experts came to this city. Sensing the dense and terrifying aura in the surroundings, everyone knew that the evil immortal successor had caused the abnormal signs here. One of the delicate-looking young men sensed something, and his expression changed. He disappeared and reappeared on the blood-colored altar. The others also arrived, and when they saw the blood-colored altar, their expressions became serious. The delicate-looking young man who had arrived first frowned and said, "The Chaos God has come out again. The primal chaos world will once again fall into chaos." A young woman nodded. "Every time the primal chaos world falls into chaos, the Chaos God will appear ahead of time and add fuel to the fire. It's simply disgusting." A 17 or 18-year-old young man asked, "What should we do? Should we spread the news?" The short-haired elder said seriously, "Of course. Moreover, we have to kill the Chaos God's followers as soon as possible to prevent them from making the situation worse." The delicate-looking young man asked curiously, "I'm quite curious. Why did the Chaos God and the evil immortal successor appear here?" The young man said, "Could it be that the Chaos God's follower is the evil immortal successor? The evil immortal successor will definitely cause a catastrophe, so the Chaos God is helping the evil immortal successor." Hearing this, everyone fell into deep thought. The short-haired elder said, "There is indeed such a possibility, but if that's the case, things will become even more troublesome." They did not know that Zhao Fu was not a follower of the Chaos God, and Zhao Fu had devoured the Chaos God's divine soul. If the Chaos God saw Zhao Fu, he would most likely want to kill Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu was not afraid of the Chaos God because he believed that his power would surpass the Chaos God's in the future. When that time came, he would devour the Chaos God's main body and obtain all of his power, becoming the new Chaos God. This news quickly spread, and everyone knew that the Chaos God had reappeared. There was also news about the evil immortal successor, and everyone started to discuss it. The discussion was no less heated than the origin dragon blood. Chapter 28-22. Book 1. Chapter 267. Zhao Fu flew to a secret place and started to devour all sorts of insect bloodlines. Zhao Fu took out the blood bottles and shattered them with a wave of his hand. The blood formed a lake of blood and fused into Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu's consciousness came to the space within his body and looked at the densely packed insect beasts. He stepped out, and a massive wave of bloodline power pressed down on the insect beasts, forcing them into the blood lake below and quickly refining them. Zhao Fu closed his eyes and sensed his bloodline continuously becoming stronger, and he gave a trace of a smile. After 4 days, Zhao Fu had only refined the insect bloodlines, and the evil celestial bloodline had reached another limit. Zhao Fu needed to further comprehend the evil celestial power before he could raise the evil celestial bloodline to stage 6. The evil celestial bloodline had 8 stages in total, and Zhao Fu was now 3 stages away. Once he completed these 3 stages, Zhao Fu would be able to obtain the same power as the first evil celestial. Zhao Fu felt that after fusing so much legacy power, he would not be any weaker than the first evil celestial, and might even be stronger than him. In order to raise the bloodline to stage 6, Zhao Fu had to familiarize himself with all of the bloodlines in his body. This was not difficult, but it would take some time. Zhao Fu wanted to go to the Sorcerer Land, so he did not spend too much time on this. 5 days later, Zhao Fu came to a tribe with a smile on his face. After traveling for so long, he had finally reached the Sorcerer Land. This was the Sorcerer Tribe. The Sorcerer Land was usually dominated by tribes, and each tribe would have at least one sorcerer. Under normal circumstances, the more sorcerer tribes there were, the higher their status would be in the sorcerer race. There were not many cities in the Sorcerer Land, so the sorcerer race preferred to live in tribes. The sorcerer race wore coarse hemp clothes or animal skins. They also had bone or stone accessories, and some people had paint on their faces. As Zhao Fu walked, he looked around curiously. At that moment, a few people holding spears stopped Zhao Fu. The one in the lead was a woman with braided hair, a seductive figure, and a pair of canine teeth. She said, "Take out your pass." Zhao Fu was puzzled. "What's a pass?" The woman was not surprised. She explained, "A pass is a token that allows you to enter the Witch Land. Now, the Witch Land has ordered that only those with a pass can enter the Witch Land. Those without a pass are forbidden from entering the Witch Land." The Wu Land was worried that the Dragon Clan would attack at any time, so the Wu Land entered a state of alert. Zhao Fu replied, "I've just arrived here, so how do I get a pass?" The lady replied, "The pass can only be obtained from a magus. Come and save my child." A man rushed over with a child in his arms. The child seemed to have been bitten by a wild beast, and his whole body was covered in blood. The woman hurriedly said, "Take him to the sorcerer." The woman glanced at Zhao Fu. "You should come along too. Also, let me remind you that it's very difficult to obtain a pass. You need the approval of a sorcerer." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, Thank you." The woman did not say anything else and immediately ran over to the man. She carried the child and ran away, and Zhao Fu followed behind her. The woman ran into a large tent, but she did not see a sorcerer, so she hurriedly sent someone to call a sorcerer. There were many types of sorcerers in the witch race: battle sorcerers, commander sorcerers, and healing sorcerers. Battle sorcerers were responsible for fighting, and commanders had the highest status. They were responsible for leading a tribe and were responsible for healing countless people. Seeing that the child's aura was becoming weaker and weaker, the woman started to feel quite worried. Zhao Fu walked into the tent and said, "I can save him." The woman felt quite delighted. "Then I'll have to trouble you." The woman placed the child on the bed, and Zhao Fu examined the child's injuries. After confirming that it was just a wild beast bite and that there were no other problems, he prepared to take out some medicine to treat the child. However, after thinking about it, Zhao Fu realized that he had obtained the shaman spirit's legacy and knew how to use sorcerer's healing methods. As such, Zhao Fu wanted to take a look, so he decided to use sorcerer's healing methods. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, and a grass-like rune appeared on his palm. It gave off countless rays of golden light that shined on the child's body, and the child's injuries immediately became better. The power that Zhao Fu used was called the sorcerer grass seal, and it could heal all sorts of illnesses and injuries without using medicinal herbs. The woman felt quite surprised as she asked, "You're also a sorcerer?" Zhao Fu thought about it and replied, "I guess so." The child's injuries were quickly healed, but because he had lost too much blood, he was still unconscious. The man thanked Zhao Fu gratefully before leaving with his child. The woman looked at Zhao Fu curiously as she said, "You shouldn't be someone from our witch race. So why do you have our power?" Zhao Fu replied, "I obtained one of your witch race's legacies, so I obtained our power." The woman understood and smiled as she said, "Since you have a sorcerer's legacy, it should be quite easy for you to obtain a passage pass. Also, why do you need a passage pass?" Zhao Fu wanted to know more about the witch land, so he smiled as he replied, "I'm sorry, but I can't tell you about this right now. I can't tell you about this for the time being. Can I ask you something?" The woman cheerfully smiled as she said, "You don't seem like a bad person. Ask me anything, and I'll tell you everything I know." Zhao Fu asked, "Why did the witch race suddenly become so vigilant? I've never heard of a passage pass before." The woman said somewhat angrily, "It's all because of that desolate ancient dragon race's young master. He might start a war with our witch race at any time, so we need to strengthen our defenses." Zhao Fu gave a strange smile. He had never thought that this matter would be related to him. He did not plan on letting out Long Wuxue, nor did he want to attack the witch land. The woman looked at Zhao Fu and asked in confusion, "What are you smiling about? Do you think our witch race is too cowardly?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Perhaps you've misunderstood. The dragon race won't attack." The woman rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu. "Do you think I'd lie to you? You have no idea what's going on. That desolate ancient dragon race's young master's master has been sealed by us for countless years. Back then, his master had enmity with our witch race, and, as her legatee, I have to take revenge for her." Zhao Fu could not tell her that he was the desolate ancient dragon race's young master, so he did not continue explaining. He smiled as he asked, "When will the witch race start their mega sacrifice?" The witch race's mega sacrifice was a very big ceremony, and the witch race would choose a shaman son to be the witch race's young master. Zhao Fu's goal was to obtain the shaman spirit's legacy, which had fused his legacy with the witch race's legacy. If he wanted to obtain her legacy, he would have to become the young master and obtain all of the witch race's legacy. Chapter 28-23. Book 1. Book 2, Chapter 268. The woman replied, "In order to fight against the Dragon Clan's young master, our witch clan will soon hold a mega sacrifice. I wonder if such a terrifying person will be born in our witch clan." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. "I understand." The woman looked at Zhao Fu. "What? Don't tell me you're also participating in the mega sacrifice?" Zhao Fu lightly smiled and replied, I'm participating in the witch clan's mega sacrifice." The woman smiled and said in surprise, "I didn't think that you'd really be a mega son. There are many mega sons in our witch clan. I wonder what level you're at." Zhao Fu asked curiously, "There are many? And there are levels?" The woman nodded. "Every tribe will choose a mega son. Someone like you who obtained the legacy of a witch clan powerhouse will also become a mega son." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Then how do we determine the level?" At that moment, an elderly woman walked in and said, "It depends on the witch seal within the mega son's body." Seeing the elderly woman walk in, the woman smiled and bowed respectfully. "Sorcerer." The elderly woman nodded and looked at Zhao Fu as she asked, "Who are you?" The woman explained, "He's a mega son who obtained our witch clan's legacy. He wants a pass to go to the witch land to participate in the mega sacrifice." The elderly woman looked at Zhao Fu and said, "If you want a pass, I can give it to you, but you have to tell me where you come from." Zhao Fu frowned. "I'm also a mega son of the witch clan. Can't I have this identity?" The elderly woman said seriously, "If it was before, it would have been possible, but now the situation is dire. Everyone who enters the witch land must have a pass." Since Zhao Fu did not want to reveal his identity, he could only use other methods to obtain a pass. Seeing how troubled Zhao Fu was, the woman said, "Sorcerer, he just saved a child who doesn't seem to be pregnant, and he's a magus son. Give him a pass." The sorcerer thought about it and looked at Zhao Fu and said, "All right, I can give you a pass, but I have a request." Zhao Fu asked, "What request?" The shaman said, "The person beside me is the shaman son of our White Wolf tribe, Lang Qing. I want to accompany you to the witch tribe's holy land." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "No problem. Also, do you trust me that much?" The sorcerer calmly said, "Your strength shouldn't be weak. If you wanted to harm Lang Qing, you could have done so at any time. You wouldn't have waited until now. Since you saved the sorcerer, I can see that you're not a bad person." Zhao Fu smiled as he looked at Lang Qing and said, "I indeed didn't have any intentions of harming her." Lang said, "Lang I, Lang 2, I 7. Lang Lang, Magus Lang Lang." Lang Zhao Fu lightly laughed and did not say anything. The elderly woman took out a command medallion with a wolf engraved on it and handed it to Zhao Fu. "This is the White Wolf tribe's command medallion. If you go to other tribes, you just need to take out this command medallion and you won't be stopped." Zhao Fu took the token and said with a smile, "Many thanks." The old woman said, "I'll have to trouble you to go out for a while. I have something to say to Lang Qing." Zhao Fu nodded and left the tent. Watching Zhao Fu leave, Lang Qing asked curiously, "Why did the wizard want me to go with him?" "I was going to bring a few of my friends to the witch tribe's holy land." The sorcerer said seriously, "He's very strong. I'm worried that you'll encounter some danger when you go to the sorcerer tribe's holy land. You'll be safer with him." When Lang Qing heard that, he did not speak anymore. The wizard continued, "This time, Magus Priest, don't let our tribe down. Try your best to get a good ranking so that our White Wolf tribe can have a good reputation." Lang Qing smiled and nodded. "Wizard, don't worry. I will do my best." The shaman revealed a smile and handed a palm-sized White Wolf statue to Lang Qing. "This is the White Wolf spirit of our White Wolf tribe. It will be of great use to you if you accept it." Lang Qing nodded with a smile and accepted the White Wolf statue. Following that, Lang Qing walked out of the tent and looked at Zhao Fu outside. He said with a smile, "You continue to wait here. I'll go find my friends and go to the witch tribe's holy land together." Zhao Fu lightly nodded in agreement. After about an hour and a half, Lang Qing brought 2 men and 3 women toward Zhao Fu. One of the men had a strong figure and was called Lang Yi. The other was handsome and was called Lang Wu Li. Among the 3 women, the one with a hot figure was called Lang Lulu, the one with a gloomy temperament was called Lang Xia, and the one with a gentle temperament was called Lang Yueqing. Lang Wu Li looked at Zhao Fu and said with a smile, "Do you still want to bring him along? I don't think he's that strong." Lang Qing said, "That's what the wizard said. I originally wanted to go with you guys." Lang Lulu said with interest, "He looks very mysterious with his cloak. I wonder what he looks like." Lang Yueqing said with a smile, "Since the wizard said to bring him along, then let's bring him along." Lang Qing brought a few people over to Zhao Fu and smiled as he introduced them and asked, "How should I address you?" Zhao Fu replied, "You can just call me Wu Ling." Lang Qing smiled as he replied, "Do you have anything to prepare? If not, let's set off now." Zhao Fu smiled as he nodded. The group left the tribe together, and they chatted as they walked. Zhao Fu walked at the back by himself and did not blend in with them. After all, Zhao Fu was an outsider. Zhao Fu was not interested in chatting, and he could slowly comprehend the bloodline that he had fused with. Roar! A massive roar sounded out as a massive wild boar rushed out and looked at the group with a savage gaze before giving off a ferocious aura and rushing over. Just as the others were about to attack, Lang Qing smiled and said, "Leave it to me. I want to try out the White Wolf spirit I obtained." Lang Qing stretched out a hand, and a white light shot out as a massive snow-white wolf appeared in front of the group. Its fur was very soft, and it had an elegant and noble figure and a sharp gaze. When the wild boar saw the White Wolf spirit appear, it immediately felt a sense of fear and turned around to flee. The white wolf lightly leapt to the wild boar's side and slapped the wild boar to the ground with its paw, killing the wild boar. Lang Xian smiled as he said, "The white wolf spirit is so powerful. It's too easy to deal with wild beasts with such strength." Lang Qing stretched out his hand in satisfaction, and the white wolf turned into a ray of light and flew into Lang Qing's arm. The white wolf spirit was the white wolf statue. It could fuse with the body of the sorcerer tribe. It was not a physical body, but a battle spirit body. The sorcerer tribe became a beast spirit. Every sorcerer tribe member had one or more beast spirits. When beast spirits fused with people from the sorcerer race, they would become a part of the sorcerer race's body and would become stronger along with the sorcerer race. They would also have some of the sorcerer race's attributes and abilities. Beast spirits would not die, and if they were heavily injured, the people from the sorcerer race would also be affected. Chapter 28-24. Book 1, Chapter 269. After getting rid of this wild boar, the sky had already darkened. The few of them started a bonfire and started roasting the wild boar meat. Zhao Fu did not say anything and sat there, slowly comprehending his bloodline. Long Lulu smiled and said, "Lang Qing, what do you think your ranking will be in this Magus Priest?" Lang Qing thought for a while and said, "Right now, our White Wolf tribe is ranked 283445. We can probably advance by a few hundred ranks." Lang Yueqing smiled and said, "Advancing by a few hundred ranks is a huge improvement. You will be more powerful than many of the magi in the tribe." Lang Qing said with some dissatisfaction, "Only advancing by a few hundred ranks. My ideal result would be advancing by 1,000 ranks. With such a huge improvement, our tribe will also receive quite a lot of rewards." Lang Yi smiled and said, "You are the most talented among us. We believe that you can do it." Lang Wooly nodded and said with a smile, "This time, our tribe's Magus Priest rewards will all depend on you." Participating in the Witch tribe's Magus Priest rewards were not only given to Magi's sons, but the tribe would also receive rewards. The higher one's ranking was, the more rewards they would receive. Lang Qing smiled and said, I will definitely work hard." Lang Wooly took the roasted wild boar meat that was stuck on a branch and handed it to Lang Qing and said, "This wild boar meat is roasted. Try it." Everyone already knew that Lang Wooly had other thoughts towards Lang Qing, so they did not care too much about it. They picked up the branch that was stuck on the ground and started eating the wild boar meat. Lang Qing did not think much about it and took a few bites of the wild boar meat that Lang Wooly handed to her. She then noticed Zhao Fu, who was sitting quietly at the side. She also took a piece of wild boar meat and handed it to Zhao Fu and said, "This is for you." Zhao Fu looked at her and took the wild boar meat and said, "Thank you." Lang Qing smiled and said, "Why haven't you spoken? If I hadn't paid attention, I would have almost forgotten about you." Zhao Fu replied, "I have always been comprehending. You don't have to mind me." Lang Qing said, "After all, we are on the same path. How could I not mind you? Furthermore, it was a Magus request." Lang Wooly said uncomfortably, "Lang Qing, don't mind him. He is following us like this, so it's good that he has our protection." Zhao Fu did not explain too much about why he would need their protection. Lang Lulu looked at Zhao Fu and curiously asked, "You, Lang Magus, why are you wearing a cloak?" Zhao Fu nodded. Lang Lulu smiled mischievously and said, "But I just want to see what you look like." Lang 52 of Lang Qing also looked at Zhao Fu, feeling quite curious about him. Boar meat, Zhao of Lang Fu of, and said, 1 2 of above. Zhao of Lang Lulu snorted lightly, looking a little unhappy. Lang of 2 2 of Buffoi. Fu of, Lang Fu of. Lang of, Lang 1 Lang in dragon. 2 of 10 Fu, 10 5 Lang of I of Lang of. We of I of. Of? Lang Qing said mockingly, "It's true that we are of a small tribe, but are you from a big tribe?" Everyone was at the outskirts of the sorcerer land, and the tribes here were all small tribes. Large tribes, and some of the more powerful tribes were at the center of the sorcerer land. "My tribe is definitely stronger than yours," the arrogant youth said angrily. Lang Qing was not to be outdone and said, We'll know after we compete. The youth called out, Fine, let's compete. I want to see the strength of your small tribes. The youth stretched out his hand, and a black light shot out. A 6-meter-tall black bear appeared in front of everyone, giving off a ferocious beast aura. This was the youth's beast spirit. Looking at the powerful black bear, Lang Yueqing said worriedly, How about we not compete? Lang Qing said resolutely, No, I want to compete. After speaking, Lang Qing stretched out his hand, and a white light shot out, turning into a white wolf. The two beast spirits looked at each other as if they were enemies, and they glared at each other and growled. The white wolf was the first to attack, and it quickly rushed towards the black bear. The black bear also ferociously rushed over, and the two beast spirits collided. The black bear slapped the white wolf with its paws, while the white wolf bit onto the black bear's body. The black bear vigorously pushed the white wolf back, and the white wolf once again leapt over. The black bear ferociously bit onto the white wolf's body, sending it flying. The white wolf quickly leapt towards the black bear and bit onto the black bear's arm. The black bear used its claws to attack the white wolf, while the white wolf used its claws to attack the black bear. The two beast spirits started to fight intensely. Lang Qing looked at the youth and called out, Do you dare to have a sorcerer's son duel? The youth took out a bone blade and said, Why wouldn't I dare? An imprint appeared between Lang Qing's eyebrows. This imprint looked like a wolf, and it was wrapped in a circle and had a rune. This was a sorcerer child seal, and it was said that sorcerer child seals were split into different grades. One rune was the lowest grade sorcerer child seal, 2 runes were of a higher grade than 1, and 3 runes were of a higher grade than 2. The highest grade had 9 runes, and only the most powerful sorcerer race factions had them. Apart from this, there was also a legendary 10th rune. The youth also had a black bear imprint between his eyebrows, and he only had 1 rune. The 2 imprints flew towards each other and collided, turning into countless motes of light. The Sorcerer's Son duel was a battle approved by the Sorcerer's Seal, and no one else could help, or they would suffer a backlash from their own Sorcerer's Seal. Lang Qing quickly rushed in front of the young man and thrust his spear towards the young man's chest. The young man leaned to the side and slashed at Lang Qing. Lang Qing retracted his spear and blocked the incoming saber. He then pushed forward and pushed the young man away. The youth retreated a few steps and felt quite angry. He slashed down with his saber, and a massive black saber light containing immense power ferociously slashed towards Lang Qing. Lang Qing did not retreat or dodge, and he held his spear as he rushed forwards. The spear shot out a white light and stabbed forwards. Bang! The black saber light was deflected by the spear, and Lang Qing's body rushed in front of the youth, the sharp spear tip stabbing towards the youth's head. The youth was shocked, and he hurriedly rolled to the side, somewhat pathetically dodging the attack. Lang Qing gave a trace of a smile, while the youth became even more angry. Boom! A powerful aura spread out from the youth's body, and many black tattoos spread out from between the youth's eyebrows. The youth's power immediately increased. This was one of the sorcerer race's exclusive abilities, and they could use sorcerer seals to increase their power. Lang Qing did not hesitate, and the white tattoos on his eyebrows started to spread out, and the power in his body also became stronger. The youth waved the saber in his hand, and a massive black saber light slashed towards Lang Qing. Lang Qing raised his spear, sending the black saber light flying. The youth appeared in front of Lang Qing, raised his saber, and vigorously slashed at Lang Qing. Lang Qing held his spear horizontally, blocking the youth's saber strike, and kicked the youth away. Apex. Chapter 28-25. Book 1. Chapter 270 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Mike. Here the young man fell to the ground and angrily climbed up, holding his machete as he rushed at Lang Qing. The spear in Lang Qing's hand stabbed forward, and a sharp beam of light shot towards the young man. The young man dodged to the side and rushed in front of Lang Qing. His blade shone with countless rays of black light as he slashed at Lang Qing with all his might. Lang Qing sent some of his power into his spear, causing it to give off a white light as he slashed forwards with great power. Bang! The saber and spear clashed together, resulting in a massive sound. A massive shockwave spread out like a wild gale. Lang Qing then vigorously attacked, forcing the young man back 5 or 6 steps. Seeing that Lang Qing had a great advantage and would not lose to the young man, Lang Wu Li and the others let out a sigh of relief and stopped worrying. The expressions of the people by the young man's side were quite unsightly. They could tell that the young man was not a match for him. However, the young man was not willing to accept this. He stretched out a hand and gave off a powerful aura, and the black bear that was fighting with the white wolf roared and knocked the white wolf away. It quickly ran towards the young man and entered his body. Boom! A massive aura exploded out from the young man's body. The young man had fused with his beast spirit, causing his power to become even more powerful. The young man's appearance also went through some changes. Bear fur grew on his body, and his hands became like bear claws, making him look even more ferocious. The white wolf quickly ran over and entered Lang Qing's body. A powerful aura spread out from Lang Qing's body, and his body went through changes, growing white wolf ears and a wolf tail. The sorcerer race could fuse with beast spirits to obtain even greater power. This was one of the sorcerer race's abilities. Boom! The young man slashed out with a saber, and a massive black saber light turned into a black bear that ferociously leapt at Lang Qing, causing the ground to crack and giving off shocking sounds. Lang Qing raised the spear in his hand and swung it forward with all his might, creating a white arc of light that struck the pouncing black bear's body. The black bear's body collapsed. The young man appeared by Lang Qing's side and slashed towards Lang Qing. Lang Qing quickly dodged backwards, dodging this attack. The young man immediately changed his attack, and his saber gave off a black saber energy as it slammed towards Lang Qing like a bear's claw. Lang Qing immediately used his spear to block in front of him. The saber struck the spear, causing Lang Qing's body to retreat 4 to 5 steps. The youth did not even have time to be happy when a white light wolf appeared behind him and bit the youth. Because the youth had fused with the beast spirit, his defense had been greatly strengthened, but that white light wolf still bit through his body. The young man cried out in pain and slashed out with his saber, cutting the white light wolf apart, turning it into many white specks of light that scattered. However, Lang Qing had already arrived in front of him. He forcefully thrust his spear towards the youth. The spear pierced into the youth's body, causing blood to flow out. The youth panicked and immediately retreated. Lang Qing planned to continue attacking. An old man at the side shouted, "Wait, we admit defeat." Lang Qing looked at the youth in front of him. The young man's expression was unsightly. He now understood that he was not Lang Qing's match, and if he did not admit defeat, the battle would only end when he died. Otherwise, the effects of the Wu Sun duel would not disappear, and the young man did not want to die here. The youth admitted defeat and said, "I admit defeat." Lang Qing lightly laughed. "Don't think that just because you come from a decent tribe, you're very strong. There are many people more powerful than you." The youth fell silent and did not say anything. Right now, he could not beat others, so there was nothing to say. An old man walked over and said, "Wu Sun, let's hurry and leave." The youth continued to show off to everyone. Lang Qing's body returned to its original form, and he smiled. Lang Lulu and the others walked over. Lang Yi smiled as he said, "I never thought that your strength would improve by so much." Lang Xia said softly, Your strength has surprised us, but it's a good thing for our tribe. You should be able to obtain good results in the Wu Sun duel." Lang Lulu smiled as she said, "I was worried that you wouldn't be able to beat him. Arrogant people like you need to be taught a lesson." Lang Qing smiled as he nodded, feeling quite satisfied with the battle. Zhao Fu stood there and continued to comprehend his bloodline. He did not care about this battle at all, as he was too weak and did not have any interest in it. Lang Qing looked at Zhao Fu and felt quite dissatisfied. She had just defeated a Wu Sun, so why was Zhao Fu not reacting at all? She called out, "Wu Ling." Zhao Fu looked at her and asked, "What's the matter?" Lang Qing looked at Zhao Fu and did not bother to say anything. Lang Lulu also felt quite dissatisfied as she said, "You're always like this? It's as if you're not on our side." Long Luli also said, "If you want to leave, please leave immediately. We won't protect you." Lang Qing hurriedly said, "Don't say that. The Wu Sun told us to leave together, so don't go against his words." Lang Qing looked at Zhao Fu and said, "We'll protect you all the way to the Wu clan's sacred land. If you don't want to communicate with us, we won't force you." Zhao Fu lightly laughed. "Actually, you don't need to protect me. I can protect myself." Lang Lili looked at Zhao Fu and said bluntly, "So you're saying that you're very strong? Do you want to spar with me?" Lang Yueqing said, "Don't be like this. Everyone should be more friendly." Lang Qing also said somewhat angrily, "Lang Luli, don't say such things. We're on the same team now, so you should treat the Wu spirit like a friend." Lang Luli was somewhat angry, but he still nodded and did not want to continue arguing with Zhao Fu. The group left this place and continued forward, arriving at another tribe. This tribe was very big, and apart from some tents, there were also buildings made of stone. There were also many people, and there was a teleportation array here that could allow long-distance teleportation. This was also the reason why Zhao Fu and the others had come, because the aura that Zhao Fu gave off was not the aura of the Wu clan, and because Zhao Fu wanted to comprehend and fuse with every bloodline in his body, his aura had become very chaotic. Coupled with the fact that Zhao Fu had taken a cloak with him, he looked very suspicious. As such, they were unsurprisingly stopped by the tribe's guards. A man with a scar on his face said, "Please take out your pass." Zhao Fu took out the pass that the White Wolf tribe sorcerer had given him and handed it to the man. The man took the pass and examined it carefully, then looked at Zhao Fu and said, "Please take off your cloak and let me see what you look like." Zhao Fu frowned. "Wasn't it just me who had the passage medallion? Why do I need to take off my cloak?" The man said unhappily, "This is a pass from a small tribe. I think you're a bit suspicious, so quickly take off your cloak to prove your identity. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite." Chapter 28-26, Volume 1, Chapter 271. Lang Qing knew that Zhao Fu did not want to reveal his appearance and said, "He's also a wizard and came to participate in the mega ceremony. He's not a suspicious person." The scarred man looked at Zhao Fu and asked, "Really? Then it proves that you're a wizard." Lang Qing said to Zhao Fu, "Wizard spirit, just show me your wizard seal." Hearing this, Zhao Fu also felt helpless. He stretched out a hand, and countless golden rays of light radiated. "Get out of the way! Get out of the way!" Shouts rang out. A group of people rode horses into the tribe. The person in the lead was a handsome man dressed in white. Everyone around them made way and began to talk, as if this man had a noble identity. The Scar Man did not have time to care about Su Bai and walked over with his people. Lang Qing was also a little curious. She did not know the identity of this person, so she asked the person next to her, "Who is he?" The person next to her replied, "He's a wizard of the Xian bird tribe. I heard that he went to investigate the young master of the desolate ancient dragon clan. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had the chance to see him." Lang Qing and the others also showed excited expressions when they heard this. The Xian bird tribe was one of the 8 major tribes of the witch tribe. The wizard of their tribe was indeed not comparable to the wizard of their small tribe. They did not even have the chance to see such a sublimated noble person. Everyone watched the group leave, and the surroundings returned to normal. Lang Qing smiled and said, "Let's go too." Everyone smiled and walked to the side. No one cared about what had just happened, nor did they pay attention to the level of Zhao Fu's wizard seal. All their attention was attracted by the wizard of the Xian bird tribe. Now, they were also talking about the wizard of the Xian bird tribe. Zhao Fu followed behind them silently. Walking to the tribe's teleportation array, they quickly teleported to another tribe. Lang Qing smiled happily and said, "We're finally here." Lang Lulu chuckled and said, "We've waited for a few months." Lang Yi also smiled and said, "It's better to be careful. Let's find that place first." Lang Wu glanced at Zhao Fu. "That's our business. Do we need to bring him along? Lang Qing said, now that Wu Ling is our teammate, let's take him with us. Lang Xia said, bringing him along is not a problem, but if we obtain treasures, he will only be able to obtain a small portion. Wolf Shaman also said, we worked hard to get that thing. We can't let him have it. Lang Qing looked at Zhao Fu and asked, Wu Ling, do you have any objections? Zhao Fu said calmly, I don't want it. Lang Qing let out a breath and said helplessly, it's fine now, let's go. Half a day later, everyone arrived at a valley. A few months ago, Lang Qing's group had obtained a map that recorded the location of a treasure trove. That treasure trove was located in this valley. Lang Qing glanced at the map and said, it's here, let's go in. After walking into the valley, a group of monkeys that were 2 meters tall let out ear-piercing cries and attacked them. Some used rocks and wood to smash them, while others ferociously pounced over. Lang Qing immediately said, attack. Their bodies shot out rays of white light and turned into massive white wolves. These were all their beast spirits, and Lang Qing's white wolf was the largest and gave off the most powerful aura. After appearing, the white wolves started to attack the monkeys. A white wolf opened its mouth and bit down on a monkey that was pouncing over, while another white wolf waved its paw and tore apart a monkey's body with its sword. Another white wolf rushed towards the group of monkeys. The monkeys attacked with all their might, continuously throwing things at the group. Some pounced on the white wolves, biting and beating them. They were not weak and could smash rocks, but to the white wolves, they were not much of a threat. Lang Qing and the others took out their weapons and easily killed the monkeys that were charging at them. Lang Qing's spear could pierce through a few monkeys, while Lang Ye's weapon was an axe. With a swing, he could split a monkey in half. Lang Xia's weapon was a bow, and an arrow could easily pierce through a monkey's body. Lang Shaman used a saber, sending the monkeys flying. Lang Lulu and Lang Yueqing used swords, and with each slash, they easily reaped the monkeys' lives. Zhao Fu did not do anything and just stood there. After a while, the group of monkeys retreated, and there were over 100 monkey corpses on the ground. The white wolves went close to the corpses and opened their mouths, sucking in a monkey's image, which was then sucked in by the white wolves. The white wolves chewed as if they were eating meat. Beast spirits could also eat other creatures' souls, and they could grow by devouring other creatures' souls. After the white wolves ate the monkeys' souls, they turned into rays of white light and returned to the group's bodies. Everyone was quite dissatisfied with Zhao Fu standing there and not helping at all. They had planned to give him some things, but now they did not want to. They felt that no matter how weak Zhao Fu was, he should at least help. Lang Lulu lightly harumphed and said, I find that you're quite annoying. Lang Lulu had been a bit interested in Zhao Fu, but Zhao Fu's way of doing things made her completely lose interest in Zhao Fu. Lang Shaman looked at Zhao Fu and said, we shouldn't have brought him here. Lang Qing was quite dissatisfied with Zhao Fu's actions, but he still said, forget it. Zhao Fu did not mind. There was no need for him to do anything in this battle, so he just stood there and comprehended his bloodline. Everyone continued onwards and came to a rock. There was a creature lying on the rock basking in the sun. It had a dragon-like head and no horns, and its body was like a lizard's. Its scales were like metal, and it was dozens of meters long. This was called the Golden Dragon, and it gave off a very powerful aura, making it so that no creature dared to come close. Lang Qing said in a small voice, the entrance to the treasure trove is guarded by this golden dragon. That golden dragon is quite powerful, so let's try and see if we can lure it away. Everyone nodded. The golden dragon was quite powerful, and they did not want to fight it head-on. How could they lure it away? They immediately thought of using beast spirits. Beast spirits were quite fast and would not be disappointed, and it was much safer than using people to lure it away. Lang Qing said, my beast spirit is the strongest, so use mine. No one else objected. Lang Qing let out White Wolf and had White Wolf walk towards the golden dragon from the other side and give a provocative howl. The golden earth dragon lazily opened its eyes and looked at the white wolf before it. There was a trace of contempt in its eyes. The difference between the two sides was quite big. White Wolf was only 10 or so meters long, while the Golden Dragon was dozens of meters long. Facing this sort of gaze, White Wolf felt quite humiliated. It opened its mouth, and powerful energy condensed a white orb of light, which shot out with great power. Apex. Chapter 28-27. Book 1. Chapter 272. Facing such a powerful attack, the Earth Gold Dragon became serious. It raised its dragon claw and vigorously swung out, sending the white orb of light flying. The orb of light crashed into the ground in the distance, causing an intense explosion and causing countless traces of white light to shine out. Roar! The Earth Golden Dragon angrily crawled up from the ground and raised its head to the sky to give a massive dragon roar that rang through the entire valley. There was a several-meter wide hole in the ground below it, which was most likely the entrance to the treasure trove. Lang Qing said in a serious tone, "With my beast spirits, I might not be able to lure the golden dragon away. Everyone, release your beast spirits." Seeing that the golden dragon was so powerful, the group did not hesitate and released their beast spirits. They walked out from the side and stood around the White Wolf. Seeing the beast spirits appear, the golden dragon charged at the beast spirits with a powerful aura. Several of the beast spirits immediately retreated backwards quickly. The golden dragon chased ferociously from behind, its massive body knocking down all the trees in its path, causing the ground to tremble. The sound it gave off was quite shocking. Seeing the golden dragon getting further and further away, Lang Qing immediately said, "I wonder how long the beast spirits can last. Let's go into the hole quickly. With such a powerful creature guarding it, there should be many good things inside." The group nodded and quickly ran out, running towards the hole. In less than 2 minutes, the group had reached the hole very quickly and were about to enter. The Golden Earth Dragon sensed their presence and immediately stopped. Its 4 dragon claws exerted force as it leaped, creating a large crater in the ground. The Golden Earth Dragon's body leaped into the sky like a rapidly descending mountain, landing near Lang Ye's group. The ground shook and a gale blew out as a terrifying aura covered the surroundings. Under this terrifying aura, Lang Yi and the others' faces turned pale and their hearts filled with fear. The Golden Dragon's large green eyes looked at them disdainfully, like it was looking at bugs. Lang Qing immediately said, "You guys leave quickly, I'll hold it back." The group hesitated. If Lang Qing stayed behind alone, it would be too dangerous. Lang Qing hurriedly said, "If you don't leave, none of you will be able to leave. If I go alone, I might be able to escape." The few of them made up their minds and were about to escape from this place. That powerful golden dragon seemed to have seen something extremely terrifying. It immediately crawled on the ground, not daring to release any of its aura. Its body didn't even dare to move. It was like a pitiful little beast. Everyone was astonished. How did the terrifying Earth Golden Dragon become like this? Following the Golden Dragon's gaze, he saw a black-cloaked man walking over at a leisurely pace. Is the Golden Dragon a fierce spirit? Everyone thought in doubt. This Golden Dragon belonged to the Dragon Clan, so was naturally afraid of Zhao Fu. Even if Zhao Fu didn't emit a terrifying aura, the Golden Dragon would still feel extreme fear just by relying on the 2 types of supreme dragon bloodlines. Zhao Fu walked in front of them. The Earth Golden Dragon was even more afraid. Its head was pressed against the ground, and its body was trembling slightly. The few of them looked at Zhao Fu with a dignified expression. After getting along with Zhao Fu for so many days, only now did they realize that Zhao Fu wasn't simple. Zhao Fu chuckled, "What's wrong? Are you going in?" Lang Qing looked at Zhao Fu and asked seriously, "Who the hell are you?" Now, Zhao Fu just walked over and didn't release any aura at all, yet that powerful golden dragon became so afraid. Zhao Fu wasn't an ordinary person. They had all underestimated Zhao Fu before, and now they understood why the shaman wanted her to bring Zhao Fu with her. It turned out that she had already expected such a thing. Zhao Fu said with a smile, "I won't tell you." Lang Lulu asked, Then how did you make such a powerful golden dragon afraid? Zhao Fu said, jokingly. Maybe it's because I look terrifying that it's afraid of me. The others evidently didn't believe him, and Lang Lulu rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu. I wonder why you've been hiding your appearance and identity. Lang Qing said, since you're not willing to tell us, we won't force you. After saying this, he said to the others, let's go in together. The few of them entered the cave, but Zhao Fu didn't go in. Instead, he sat cross-legged on the ground and continued to comprehend his bloodline. After an hour or so, Lang Qing and the others walked out with smiles on their faces. It seemed that they had gained quite a bit. Lang Qing took out 10 or so treasures and smiled as he said, these are the most valuable treasures in the treasury. You can take them all. Zhao Fu didn't mind and said, I don't need these things. You can take them yourselves. This showed how extraordinary Zhao Fu was. They were all quite tempted by these treasures, but Zhao Fu wasn't interested at all. This was a clear disparity between them. Lang Lulu, who had never liked Zhao Fu, now started to fear Zhao Fu. At that moment, Zhao Fu turned to look at Di Jin and said calmly, you can go now. Hearing this, the golden dragon immediately turned and ran, disappearing in front of everyone's eyes. It could be seen how afraid it was of Zhao Fu. Lang Qing distributed the treasures to the others and smiled as he said, now that we've obtained the treasures, let's continue to the witch race's sacred land. The others responded with smiles on their faces. A few days later, Zhao Fu and the others came to a large tribe. As expected, Zhao Fu was once again stopped by a pair of guards. This place was quite close to the witch race's sacred land, and the guards were all wearing armor and gave off powerful auras. The captain was a short-haired, valiant-looking man, and he smiled as he said to Zhao Fu, take out your pass. Zhao Fu sighed. After being stopped so many times, was he really that suspicious? Zhao Fu took out his pass and handed it to the man. The valiant-looking man looked at it and asked, why have you come to the witch race? Zhao Fu replied, to participate in the Magus sacrifice. The valiant-looking man felt quite surprised. Then you're also a sorcerer? Zhao Fu nodded. The valiant-looking man handed the pass to Zhao Fu and said, it's very rare to see a sorcerer like you. Which race expert's legacy did you obtain? Zhao Fu calmly replied, I can't tell you that. The valiant-looking man lightly laughed and said, why? I don't think there's a need to hide it. People will know that you're going to the witch race's sacred land. Moreover, if you reveal your identity in advance, you'll receive the support of some experts. Otherwise, with your identity, it'll be very difficult for you to gain a foothold. Zhao Fu said, thanks. I don't plan on staying in the witch race. I'll leave after the mega sacrifice. The valiant-looking man smiled and said, all right, I won't make things difficult for you. Lang Qing and the others looked at Zhao Fu and found out some things about Zhao Fu from him. Is he only here to participate in the Magus sacrifice? Normally, sorcerer children came to the Magus sacrifice for the tribe. Sorcerer children who did not belong to a tribe would choose to join a tribe, and many tribes would welcome such people. As such, Zhao Fu felt quite strange. Chapter 28. Book 1, Chapter 273. The valiant-looking man laughed as he said, I'm even more curious about you now. Zhao Fu said, if there's nothing else, I'll be leaving. The guard next to the valiant-looking man said with a cold expression, without our permission, do you think you can leave? The valiant-looking man looked at the guard, and the guard immediately lowered his head and did not say anything. Zhao Fu said calmly, if I want to leave, no one in your tribe can stop me. Hearing these arrogant words, everyone felt quite shocked, and the guards looked at Zhao Fu unkindly, as if he was looking down on them. The valiant-looking man laughed as he said, how about we have a competition? Zhao Fu looked at him and said, you're not a match for me. The valiant-looking man lightly laughed as he said, but I just want to give it a try. Are you willing? If you're not, I won't force you. Zhao Fu said calmly, then I'll give you a chance. The valiant-looking man laughed as he said, there are too many people here, so it's not convenient to have a competition. How about we compete in shaman power? Zhao Fu nodded as he said, Up to you. Boom. An explosion sounded out as a powerful shaman power exploded out from the valiant-looking man's body. His body burned with a blue aura flame, and the blue aura flame condensed into a goat above the valiant-looking man's head. This powerful aura caused the surrounding people to look over, and the pedestrians made way for them. Some people came over out of curiosity. The valiant-looking man was quite confident in his power, and he knew that Zhao Fu was not simple. As such, he released his power with all his strength. Lang Yi and the others looked quite serious. This valiant-looking man's power was slightly stronger than theirs. As a shaman, Lang Qing also felt quite a bit of pressure. The people in the surroundings were also discussing. Sensing the aura that the valiant-looking man gave off, they approved of his aura. Within this tribe, he was definitely one of the stronger people. The valiant-looking man laughed confidently as he said, "I'll have to trouble you to show your powerlessness." Zhao Fu looked at the valiant-looking man and took a step forwards, and a formless power spread out. Boom! A deafening explosion rang out in the handsome man's mind, and his body trembled violently. He saw a wizard's mask that was as large as the sky pressing down on him, and his soul was greatly impacted. He felt an unprecedented sense of insignificance and inferiority. In the eyes of the crowd, however, it was a different scene. They saw that the valiant man was frozen in place, looking at the sky in shock, his body not moving at all. Zhao Fu retracted his gaze and walked to the side. The valiant man's body also went limp, and he sat on the ground. His blood seemed to have stopped flowing. A few guards saw that Zhao Fu was about to leave and were about to stop Zhao Fu. The valiant man hurriedly shouted in awe, "Let him go!" The guards had strange looks on their faces, but they didn't stop Zhao Fu. The people in the surroundings were confused. They didn't know what had just happened. Why did the valiant-looking man look like he couldn't bear it when that person took a step forward? What kind of special power did that person have? Lang Xing and the others were also filled with confusion, and they followed behind Zhao Fu. Now, they were even more certain that Zhao Fu's strength was terrifying, and their attitude toward Zhao Fu became more respectful. They followed behind Zhao Fu, not daring to say anything. After walking for a while, Zhao Fu said, "You don't have to mind me. I'll be the same as before." Lang Qing pouted slightly. "How would we dare? You could have come to the Sorcerer Land by yourself. So why did you come with us? We thought that you didn't dare to come alone and needed our protection." Zhao Fu said, "I promised your tribe's wizards to come with you, and to repay the favor of the past, I can guarantee that you won't suffer any harm on the way." Everyone looked embarrassed. They had thought that they would be protecting Zhao Fu, but in the end, it was Zhao Fu who was protecting them. Thinking about it along the way, they felt that Zhao Fu was right. If they didn't encounter any danger, Zhao Fu wouldn't help them. However, if they encountered danger, Zhao Fu would immediately take care of it. Lang Lulu said, "No wonder you didn't want to talk to us. It turns out that you're so powerful that you don't want to come into contact with people like us." Zhao Fu lightly laughed. "I didn't mean that. I've been comprehending something and don't have time to talk to you." Lang Lulu smiled and said, "Really?" Zhao Fu nodded. Lang Lulu happily smiled and said, "I misunderstood you before, so I apologize." Lang Yueqing smiled and said, "I also apologize to you." Zhao Fu said, "No need, I didn't care about that." Now that the misunderstanding had been resolved, their relationship became much more harmonious. After leaving the tribe, the group continued towards the sorcerer race's sacred land. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out, and Zhao Fu and the others, who were walking on a small path, stopped. They saw two figures appear in front of them, fighting intensely and giving off terrifying auras. Zhao Fu and the others recognized one of them. He was the sorcerer's son of the mystic bird tribe, Xian Shan. The other person had a ferocious look on his face. Even though they had never seen him before, he was very powerful and was most likely a sorcerer's son of the same tribe. Lang Qing looked at the two people fighting and asked Zhao Fu, "Should we stay away from the battle between the two sorcerer's sons?" These two people had terrifying statuses, and Lang Qing and the others could not afford to offend them. They did not want to get involved in order to avoid getting into trouble. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "It's rare to see two sorcerer's sons fighting, so you can watch. It'll be of some help to you." Now, Zhao Fu was the leader, and since Zhao Fu said that he would stay and watch the two sorcerer's sons fight, they had no objections. No matter what happened, Zhao Fu would be there to support them. Clang! The ferocious-looking man slashed out with his saber with shocking power, and a powerful saber energy turned into a monster with a tiger's body and a human's face, rushing towards Xianshang with terrifying power. Lang Qing looked at the monster and immediately said, "He should be the sorcerer's son of the Pauper Tiger tribe. That monster is the Pauper Tiger." Zhao Fu asked, "What's his name?" Lang Qing replied, "His name is Ming, and I heard that he's very violent and likes to kill." Xianshang used a sword, and he stabbed out with his sword. A few ripples spread out, and a sharp sword energy shot out, piercing through the Pauper Tiger's body. Ming slashed out with his saber again, and a huge black saber light slashed towards Xianshang. Xianshang immediately used his sword to block, and a pair of green wings appeared in front of him, giving off a green light and forming a formless defensive barrier. Bang! The ferocious saber light hit the barrier, but it turned into many black spots and dissipated, not causing any damage to Xianshang. Ming rushed in front of Xianshang and slashed out with all his strength. The terrifying saber light shattered the barrier, and Xianshang's body was sent flying more than 10 meters. Boom! Boom! Chapter 28-29. Book 1. Chapter 274. Xianshang was not injured and said coldly, "Ming, I already said that you are not as strong as me. You should just stay in the Qionghu tribe." Ming said angrily, "I want to see how strong you are." Clang! Ming slashed at Xianshang with his saber again, bringing with it a black saber wind. He slashed at Xianshang fiercely, as if he wanted to cut Xianshang into pieces. Xianshang raised the sword in his hand, and a huge green bird appeared behind him. It looked like a crane with a crown on its head and 3 beautiful green feathers on its back. Boom! The mystic bird flapped its pair of wings with all its might, and a huge green sword wind blew forward ferociously. Boom! The two winds collided, and an even more powerful storm spread out. The wind raged and seemed to tear everything apart. Finally, the black wind was blown away, and the green sword wind continued to blow towards Ming. Ming immediately blocked with his saber. The saber gave off countless black lights and formed a huge black shield. Xianshang came in front of Ming and slashed down with his sword. A green sword light flew forward, and the shield was destroyed. Ming was sent flying and spat out a mouthful of blood. Roar! Ming shouted angrily. A huge force burst out, and a huge poor tiger appeared behind Xianshang. It opened its mouth and bit towards Xianshang. Xianshang slapped out with his palm, and a huge green palm print with great power slapped towards Ming. Bang! The two collided, and a shockwave spread out. Both of them took 5 or 6 steps back. Ming quickly rushed towards Xianshang with a strong aura. Xianshang spun the green sword in his hand, and rays of green sword light flew towards Ming. There were many of them, and they were so densely packed that it seemed impossible to block them. Ming slashed with his saber, and the black saber light slashed forward like a black crescent moon. Bang, bang, bang. The green sword light was cut into pieces by the black crescent moon and turned into countless green air currents. However, the power of the black crescent moon was quickly weakening. Xianshang slashed out with his sword and destroyed the fragile black crescent moon. He stretched out his hand and grabbed it. Countless green rays of light shot out from behind Xianshang. A huge bird claw with a powerful aura grabbed towards Ming. Ming immediately used his saber to block in front of him, blocking the huge bird claw. Xianshang flew in front of Ming in an instant, the sword in his hand emitting a strong green sword light, exuding an extremely strong power. Boom! Ming was cut down from the sky by the sword and smashed heavily on the ground. He landed near Zhao Fu and the others. Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. He had sustained serious injuries. He looked angrily at Xian Shang, who was standing in the sky. From the results, he knew that he was no match for Xian Shang. Lang Lulu smiled and said excitedly, Xian Shang is so strong. No wonder he is one of the 3 geniuses of the witch tribe. That Hu Ming is much weaker. Hearing this, Hu Ming was furious. He turned to look at Lang Lulu and vented his anger on her. Be asterisk T-Sich, you're courting death. Boom! Hu Ming jumped up from the ground and rushed in front of Lang Lulu with a terrifying aura. He punched forward with the power to shatter the void. He could not defeat Xian Shang, but he did not believe that he could not kill a weak woman. Lang Lulu looked at Hu Ming, who was rushing toward her. Her body stiffened, and she felt a strong sense of fear. Was she going to die? Suddenly, a figure blocked in front of her. It was Zhao Fu. His punch did not emit any shocking power. It was like an ordinary person's punch. Bang! The 2 fists collided and made a loud sound. Hu Ming's body flew backwards and fell on the ground. He spat out a mouthful of blood and looked shocked. Lang Lulu looked at Zhao Fu, who was standing in front of her. Her heart was filled with joy and gratitude. It was Zhao Fu who had saved her. Xian Shang, who was standing in the sky, was also surprised. Although Hu Ming was seriously injured, he was not an ordinary person who could defeat him. This person was not simple. Lang Qing and the others were shocked. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would be able to send a shaman son of one of the 8 big tribes flying. His power was beyond their imagination. Hu Ming looked at Zhao Fu and said fiercely, Who are you? Zhao Fu smiled and said, Why should I tell you? Hu Ming said angrily, Then do you know who I am? You actually dared to injure me? Zhao Fu lightly laughed and said, Of course I know, but as a shaman son of one of the 8 big tribes, your power is quite weak. Hu Ming angrily shouted, If I wasn't seriously injured, would I have lost to you? Just you wait, I'll definitely make you regret it. Now that Hu Ming's body had no strength left, he understood that he was not Zhao Fu's match. Moreover, Xian Shang was standing next to him, so he turned and ran. Zhao Fu did not chase after him because this was the witch race. Zhao Fu could not kill Hu Ming here. Xian Shang flew down from the sky and cupped his hands as he smiled and said, How should I address you? Zhao Fu lightly laughed and replied, My name is Wu Ling. Xian Shang smiled and asked, Then you're also here to participate in the witch ceremony? Zhao Fu nodded. Xian Shang smiled and said, I'm a little surprised that you're so strong. I think I have another strong opponent. Zhao Fu smiled and said, You flatter me, but I will become the young tribe leader of the witch race. Xian Shang's expression was a little awkward. He did not think that Zhao Fu would be so direct. He also thought that Zhao Fu was very strong, but he himself was not weak either. He smiled and said, We'll have to wait for the witch ceremony to find out. Zhao Fu nodded. Xian Shang asked again, You don't look like a member of the witch race. Which witch race expert did you obtain the inheritance? I think that expert's strength is also very famous, right? Xian Shang could roughly guess Zhao Fu's identity. He also understood that since Zhao Fu was so strong, he must have obtained a strong inheritance. With such a strong inheritance, he must be very famous in the witch race. If he knew about this expert, he would know about Zhao Fu's background and how dangerous he was. Zhao Fu smiled and said, You'll know when the witch ceremony starts. Xian Shang was a little disappointed. He knew that Zhao Fu would not reveal his identity, so he did not force him. He planned to go back and investigate Zhao Fu. After chatting with Zhao Fu for a while, Xian Shang turned into a stream of light and disappeared. Lang Qing and the others looked at Zhao Fu excitedly. They did not think that Xian Shang, one of the 3 geniuses of the witch race, would be standing in front of them and chatting politely with Zhao Fu. To them, this was something they did not even dare to think about. Their status was too low. Zhao Fu could chat with Xian Shang, and he did not lose to him at all. In their hearts, they were sure that Zhao Fu's strength was definitely not weaker than the son of the witch race of the 8 big tribes. Thinking about being with such a person for so many days, they felt that it was incredible. Chapter 28:30. Book 1. Chapter 275. After walking for a while, the sky darkened. They sat by the fire and roasted the wild boar meat. Zhao Fu was still the same, sitting by the side without saying anything, comprehending his bloodline. After the wild boar meat was roasted, Lang Lulu smiled and handed a piece to Zhao Fu. Today, Zhao Fu had saved her, so Lang Lulu was not only grateful, but she also somewhat liked the mysterious Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu reached out and took the wild boar meat. "Thank you." Lang Lulu smiled and lightly nodded. Lang Qing said, "We're about to reach the witch race's holy land. Wu Ling, what will happen after that?" They all looked at Zhao Fu, because Zhao Fu had only agreed to be their teammate, and if they reached the witch race's holy land, it would be time for Zhao Fu to leave. Zhao Fu replied, "Of course I'm going to participate in the witch sacrifice." Lang Lulu asked with concern, "Will we be separated from there?" Zhao Fu thought for a moment and replied, "I'm not sure about that. We'll have to wait for the witch race's holy land to know." Lang Lulu stood up from the ground, blushing, and said softly, "Wu Ling, come with me. I have something to talk to you about." Zhao Fu nodded. The two came to an open space, and Zhao Fu asked, "What's the matter?" Lang Lulu threw herself into Zhao Fu's arms. "I want to stay by your side. I don't want to be separated from you." Zhao Fu chuckled, understanding what she meant, and did not hesitate. The people by the fire waited for a while, and when Zhao Fu and Lang Lulu did not return, they felt a bit strange. Lang Yueqing said softly, "I'll go and take a look." The people nodded. Lang Yueqing walked to the open space, and seeing the scene in front of him, his face turned red. Seeing that Lang Yueqing had also come, Lang Yueqing smiled and joined them. At first, Lang Yueqing was a bit hesitant, but he was directly pulled over by a force. After a while, seeing that Lang Yueqing did not return, the people seemed to understand something. Zhao Fu could not be in danger, so something else must have happened. At this moment, a faint voice floated over, and a few of them finally understood what had happened. Lang Xian stood up and asked, "Lang Qing, do you want to go?" Lang Qing blushed. Lang Shaman looked at Lang Qing, hoping that Lang Qing would not go. If he did, it would mean that Lang Qing had that kind of relationship with Zhao Fu. Lang Yi fell silent. For an expert like the shaman Li to fancy the women of their small tribe, it was already a great fortune. They would bring a great opportunity to the tribe. Lang Qing said with a red face, "I'll go take a look." Lang Shaman's heart immediately fell to the ground, and he felt immense pain as he said, "Can Lang Qing not go?" Lang Qing blushed and did not know how to reply. Lang Qing had a good impression of Zhao Fu from the start. Lang Xia said, "I'll leave first." To Lang Xia, Zhao Fu would bring her a lot of benefits. She didn't mind becoming Zhao Fu's woman. Without hesitation, Lang Qing apologized and followed Lang Xian. Lang Shaman felt pain in his heart, and his eyes became wet. He could not accept this result. Lang Yi comforted him. "Don't be too sad. We've been together for so long. Even though you like Lang Qing, even without the shaman spirit, it would still be impossible. Lang Qing only treats you as a friend." Lang Shaman felt even worse, and tears flowed out of his eyes. Late at night, the sky was filled with stars. The four women lay beside Zhao Fu and smiled as they looked at Zhao Fu. Now that Zhao Fu did not hide his appearance from them, they did not think that Zhao Fu would be so perfect. Lang Qing happily hugged Zhao Fu and looked at Zhao Fu's face. "Are you still willing to separate from us?" Zhao Fu said with a light smile, "No need." Lang Xia asked, "Shaman spirit, was what you said to Xin Shang before true?" Zhao Fu smiled and asked, "What?" Lang Xia said, "If you become a young tribe leader." Zhao Fu nodded. Lang Xia revealed a smile. "I believe that you have the ability to fight for the position." Lang Qing reminded, "It is almost impossible for outsiders to become the young tribe leader, because it requires the purest bloodline and shaman power." Zhao Fu had the power to refine tens of thousands of blood, so he naturally did not have to worry about this. He smiled and said, "Yes, I know." Seeing that Zhao Fu was so confident, the women also believed in Zhao Fu. The next day, the group arrived at the holy land of the witch tribe. There was a majestic holy city here, and there were many people bustling about. Lang Qing and the others looked at the tall and luxurious buildings around them and felt excited. People from their small tribe rarely saw such buildings. Zhao Fu and the others walked towards the shaman registration area. Because every tribe would receive all kinds of rewards, they had to verify the identity of each tribe shaman's son. The group came to a building, and there was a wooden staff inside. There were many runes engraved on it, and it gave off a mysterious feeling. There was a 3-meter-wide ring on the ground, and there was an ordinary-looking young man beside it. This was the registration area for shaman sons. There were many buildings like this, and because there were many shaman sons participating in the shaman ceremony, the Green Wolf tribe was ranked in the 200,000. The youth looked at Zhao Fu and the others and smiled as he said, "Go into the ring. The shaman staff will automatically record your information." Lang Qing said, "I'll go and record it first." Zhao Fu nodded. Lang Qing walked into the ring, and the ring immediately lit up. The wooden staff also gave off many rays of light, and a powerful aura spread out. At the top of the wooden staff, a 1-meter-long white wolf appeared, and a line of small words appeared below it. White Wolf Tribe, Rank 283445. White Wolf Tribe Shaman Son, Wizard Seal Level 1, Grade Excellent. The white wolf and the small words fused together, forming a ball that flew into Lang Qing's body. The youth beside him smiled and said, "Now that you've registered, you can leave the ring." Lang Qing sensed the ball in his body, smiled, nodded, and left the ring. Zhao Fu asked curiously, "What is that ball?" Lang Qing smiled and said, "That thing is the key to enter the Shaman Holy Land. Without it, you can't enter the Shaman Holy Land." Zhao Fu nodded and walked into the ring. The ring once again lit up, and everyone looked at Zhao Fu curiously. Because the shaman staff would show the grade of the shaman son and the grade of the shaman seal, they wanted to see how high Zhao Fu's grade was and how high his shaman seal was. After waiting for 2 minutes, everyone looked at the staff curiously. Why isn't there any reaction? The youth also looked at the staff curiously. Why isn't there any reaction? There were only 2 reasons. The first was that there was a problem with the shaman staff, and the second was that the person was not a shaman son. The shaman staff had just been used, so it was not a problem with the staff. The youth looked at Zhao Fu and asked, "Which tribe are you from?" Zhao Fu replied, "I don't have a tribe." Chapter 2831. Book 1, 276. The young man explained, "You're not a Magus son of our clan, so you're not qualified to participate in the ceremony." Zhao Fu said, "Although I don't have a tribe, I obtained the legacy of a witch tribe expert and became a witch son." The young man asked curiously, "Is that so? Then you are qualified, but why can't the wizard's staff be displayed?" Zhao Fu didn't know what went wrong. The young man said, "Go try somewhere else. Perhaps there's something wrong with my magic staff, so I can't register special witches." Zhao Fu nodded. After they left, they found another registration point. The result was still not displayed. Lang Qing asked in confusion, "Why can't the wizard staff display your information?" There's no way the staffs at both registration points are broken. The others also looked at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu frowned. "I don't know either." Lang Qing smiled and said, "Then let's go to a higher level registration point. Perhaps your information will be displayed there." Zhao Fu replied. And the few of them walked to a higher level registration point. There were more people there, but it should be able to show that Zhao Fu was a special kind of witch child. They walked to an even bigger registration point. There were quite a few people here, and they had already formed a line. Zhao Fu and the others walked to the end of the line and prepared to line up. After waiting for a while, a burly man directly strode into the building. He did not intend to queue up and planned to directly register. This caused everyone to be dissatisfied. They were all following the rules and queuing up, and someone shouted, "Can you not follow the rules? Line up." The burly man said in disdain, "Rules are made for weaklings like you. I don't need to follow rules." Hearing this, everyone felt quite angry, and someone cried out, "Then you're stronger than us?" Do you want to have a competition? You're too arrogant. You're really asking for a lesson. If you say we're weak, I don't think you're strong either. Boom! The big man exploded out with a powerful aura, forming a might that weighed down on everyone's bodies. The noisy surroundings immediately fell silent, and everyone looked at the big man in fear. They had never thought that the big man would be so powerful. Looking at the silent crowd, the burly man laughed disdainfully and walked towards the ring. No one dared to stop him. Everyone was unwilling to accept this, but in reality, they were no match for the burly man. As such, they could only endure it. Otherwise, nothing could be changed. Challenging the burly man was equivalent to seeking death. "Excuse me, I'll try first." A voice rang out. The muscular man was displeased. He turned around and saw a man in a black cloak behind him. The burly man's face turned cold. "If you have the guts to say it again." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Excuse me, please. I want to see if I can register here." The burly man snorted coldly and instantly appeared in front of Zhao Fu. His hand carried a ferocious aura as it grabbed toward Zhao Fu. Bang! The burly man was sent flying by a formless energy. He crashed to the ground and coughed up a large mouthful of blood, and his face became pale. Zhao Fu smiled as he asked, "Do you have any objections?" The burly man lowered his head and did not dare to say anything. He had not even seen how Zhao Fu had attacked before he had been sent flying. This meant that Zhao Fu's strength was far greater than his, and facing such an expert, he did not dare to have any objections. The others did not have any objections either. Zhao Fu walked into the ring, and the ring gave off light, but it still could not display Zhao Fu's information. Zhao Fu frowned. If it could not be displayed, he would not be able to obtain the orb and enter the witch race's holy land. Seeing that the sorcerer's staff could not display any information, everyone else felt quite curious. Zhao Fu looked at the man next to him and asked, "Why can't my information be displayed?" The man was the person in charge of registering here, and he looked quite confused as he asked, "Are you sure you're a witch child? As long as you're a witch child, it will definitely be displayed." Zhao Fu said, "I obtained a witch race expert's legacy and became a witch child." The man asked, "Which expert?" Zhao Fu hesitated and wondered if he should reveal his identity. At that moment, a figure walked in and coldly laughed as he said, "You're still here?" It was Hu Ming. Seeing Hu Ming come here, everyone felt quite fearful. This was a witch child of the 8 great tribes, an existence that they all looked up to. Zhao Fu looked at Hu Ming and said, "Why wouldn't I dare?" Hu Ming angrily laughed as he said, "Now that my injuries have healed, do you want to compete again?" Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "I won't compete with someone who has been defeated by me, because there's no need to waste time." Everyone looked quite shocked. Who is this person? He actually defeated one of the 8 witch children, Hu Ming. Hu Ming said furiously, "It's not up to you to refuse." Hu Ming gave off a powerful aura and prepared to attack Zhao Fu. A tall, slender, and extremely beautiful woman in green clothes said softly, "Hu Ming is a disgrace to the 8 great shamans." Hearing this, Hu Ming turned to look at the woman and said, "Dai Yi, this has nothing to do with you, so don't interfere." Dai Yi looked at Zhao Fu and said, "I don't want to interfere, but you were defeated by an unknown person. Aren't you a disgrace to the 8 witch children? I'll recommend that the poor tiger tribe abolish you." Hu Ming explained, unconvinced, "It's not that I'm weak. I was heavily injured during my battle with Xian Shang, which was why I lost to this person. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't have lost." Everyone understood that it was because of Hu Ming's heavy injuries that that person had the chance to defeat Hu Ming. Dai looked at Zhao Fu and asked, "Who are you?" Even though Hu Ming was heavily injured, he was not someone an ordinary person could defeat. Dai was quite curious about Zhao Fu's identity. Zhao Fu said, "There's no need for me to tell you." Dai lightly laughed. "You're still so confident facing us 2 witch children. You must have something to rely on." Zhao Fu calmly replied, "I still have things to do and don't have time to chat with you." Right now, the most important thing for Zhao Fu was to register and obtain the right to enter the Holy Land. If he could not enter, he would not be able to obtain the legacy. Seeing that Zhao Fu was about to leave, Hu Ming immediately stopped Zhao Fu and said, "You want to leave? Do you have my permission?" Zhao Fu felt quite angry, and a trace of coldness appeared in his eyes as he said, "Don't seek death." Hu Ming coldly said, "I think you're the one seeking death." Just as the two of them were about to fight, Xianshang lightly laughed as he walked in. "Shaman Ling, I never thought that we would meet again so soon." Everyone looked quite shocked. They had never thought that Xianshang, one of the three geniuses of the witch race, would also come, and that he knew the cloaked person. Things had become even more interesting. Chapter 2832. Book 1. Chapter 277. Zhao Fu looked at Xianshang, who was walking in, and nodded. Hu Ming said coldly, "This is between me and him. You better not get involved." Xianshang said disapprovingly, "What if I want to get involved?" Hu Ming said angrily, "I am not your match, but don't go overboard. Our poor tiger tribe will not let anyone bully us." Now that Hu Ming mentioned the poor tiger tribe, Xianshang was a little hesitant. Dai Yi said with a smile, "Xianshang, I think you should leave him alone. I also want to see what gives him the guts to do this." Zhao Fu laughed lightly and said, "You don't have to worry about me." Hearing this, Xianshang did not say anything. Hu Ming turned to look at Zhao Fu and said coldly, "I didn't expect you to have some backbone. I will let you die a little more comfortably." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "Don't talk nonsense. If you want to fight, do it quickly." Hu Ming was furious. He released a strong aura and rushed in front of Zhao Fu. He threw a punch at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu looked at Hu Ming disdainfully. Now that there was no restriction that Zhao Fu could only use shaman power, Zhao Fu's strength was at its peak. He stretched out a finger. A terrifying force crashed towards Hu Ming. Hu Ming's expression changed, and he quickly dodged to the side. The strong force continued to crash behind him. Behind Hu Ming stood Xianshang, who had just come in. Xianshang felt the force, and his face turned serious. He immediately put up a defensive barrier. Bang! A dull sound rang out, and the barrier shattered. Xianshang's body retreated 2 steps, but he was not injured. Everyone present was shocked. Xianshang had actually been pushed back by a casual point. Dai Yi was also very shocked. How could this person be so strong? Xianshang was one of the 3 geniuses of the witch tribe. He was stronger than her. Xianshang looked at Zhao Fu even more seriously. Now that they had fought, he realized that he had underestimated Zhao Fu. Hu Ming's heart sank. He had originally thought that Zhao Fu would only be able to defeat him when he was heavily injured, but now it seemed that his strength was truly very strong. Zhao Fu apologized to Xianshang. Just now, Zhao Fu had attacked Hu Ming, but he had attacked Xianshang instead. He turned to look at Hu Ming. "Go to a wider place." Hu Ming hesitated and didn't have much confidence. The person in front of him might really be stronger than him. Everyone looked at Hu Ming. Hu Ming could only bite the bullet and agree. "Okay, let's go outside." Zhao Fu nodded. When the two of them arrived at the empty space in front of the registration point, the news spread quickly. When the crowd found out that Hu Ming of the 8 great shaman signs was going to duel with someone, they immediately gathered around. The area was filled with people, and it looked very lively. Lang Yi and the rest also looked at Zhao Fu, revealing excited smiles. Zhao Fu looked at Hu Ming and said, "I'll give you another chance to attack. If you don't, you won't have another chance." Hu Ming ignored Zhao Fu's words and raised his hand, causing a black ray of light to shoot into the sky. A massive figure appeared in the sky. It had a tiger's body and a human face on its head. It was covered with black fur and gave off a massive might that weighed down on everyone's bodies. The surrounding people could sense Hu Ming's immense power, and they all acknowledged Hu Ming's power as one of the 8 great shamans. The poor tiger ferociously looked at Zhao Fu below and raised its massive tiger claws, bringing with it a berserk gale as it slammed toward Zhao Fu. The ground was torn apart by this power, and it looked quite terrifying. Zhao Fu stood where he was without moving, and a wave of power spread out, forming a thick black dragon inscription barrier. Bang! A massive sound rang out as the massive tiger claws slammed into the dragon inscription barrier. The ground within a 10-meter radius instantly cracked, and a powerful gale spread out. However, the barrier under the tiger claws was not damaged at all, and there was not even a single crack. Everyone looked shocked. Zhao Fu said condescendingly, "With this kind of power, you can't defeat me." Hu Ming was infuriated and controlled the poor tiger in the sky. It raised its claws and gave off an even more ferocious power as it clawed toward Zhao Fu, leaving behind 2 black claw marks. Bang! A massive sound rang out as the 2 tiger claws clawed at the defensive barrier below. The terrifying power caused the ground to shatter, causing rocks to fly everywhere. However, only a thin crack appeared on the defensive barrier, which quickly healed. Roar! Hu Ming angrily roared. The massive poor tiger opened its mouth and gave off a ferocious aura as it bit toward Zhao Fu. When its mouth bit down on the black dragon inscription barrier, it seemed as if it could shatter steel. Zhao Fu stood where he was and did not move, allowing the poor tiger to bite. Under the powerful bite, some cracks appeared on the barrier, but it was still very difficult to destroy the barrier. Hu Ming tried a few more times, but he could only summon the poor tiger back and fuse it into his body. An even more powerful power exploded out from his body. Hu Ming's hands turned into tiger claws, and black fur grew on his body. Swish! Hu Ming instantly disappeared and appeared in front of Zhao Fu. His claw gave off a power that could pierce through mountains as it struck the barrier. Kacha! A crisp sound rang out. Many cracks finally appeared on the defensive barrier, but it was still not broken. Bang! Hu Ming once again attacked with all his strength, bringing with it a shocking power as it struck the barrier. The barrier was finally broken. Seeing this, everyone let out a sigh of relief. Hu Ming was one of the 8 great shamans, and if he could not break a person's defense with his full strength, it would be too embarrassing. Hu Ming was overjoyed. Now that he had successfully broken Zhao Fu's barrier, he could now attack Zhao Fu. Bang! In that instant, an even more powerful power exploded out from Zhao Fu's body. A black semicircle barrier spread out, sending Hu Ming flying. This semicircle barrier was 10 meters wide and half a foot thick, and it gave off an even sturdier aura than before. Hu Ming's heart fell into the valley, and his expression became ugly. The people in the surroundings were also shocked. They did not expect Zhao Fu to unleash an even sturdier defense. Hu Ming cried out, bringing with him a powerful aura as he charged in front of the barrier. He punched the barrier, giving off a loud sound. Under Hu Ming's continuous attacks, cracks gradually appeared on the barrier. This gave Hu Ming a trace of hope that he could break Zhao Fu's defense. Bang! 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 Hu Ming's fists gave off a black light, bringing with them a powerful force as he continuously attacked the barrier. The cracks became bigger and bigger, making Hu Ming even more confident. He continued to attack the barrier. Bang! Hu Ming punched the defensive barrier with all his strength, shattering it once again. Chapter 2833. Book 1. Chapter 278. Seal. Hu Ming smiled and destroyed Zhao Fu's defensive barrier again. Boom! An explosion sounded out as an even more powerful force attacked, causing Hu Ming's expression to freeze as he hurriedly retreated. A 30-meter wide defensive barrier was formed. It was thicker than before, and the aura it gave off was even stronger. Hu Ming looked dumbfounded. How could he unleash an even stronger defense? Everyone looked at Zhao Fu in shock. The feeling that Zhao Fu gave them was that he was unfathomable, and no one could predict just how powerful he was. Daya's expression was serious. She did not know how strong Zhao Fu was, but he was definitely stronger than her. Xianshan's expression was also serious. Zhao Fu's strength was definitely not weaker than his, and it was even possible that he was stronger than him. In any case, he would not be able to do such a thing. Boom! Boom! Hu Ming's expression was ferocious as he raised his hands, and waves of black shockwaves spread out. The massive aura caused everyone's hairs to stand on end, and an intense fear arose in their hearts. A black ball of light the size of a fist appeared between his hands, and the terrifying power from the surroundings continuously poured into it. The black ball of light became bigger and bigger, and the power it gave off became stronger and stronger. The last black ball of light was more than 30 meters long, and it gave off an extremely terrifying aura, as if it had the power to destroy everything. The people in the surroundings felt this power and started to retreat one after another to avoid being affected. Boom! Hu Ming vigorously waved his hands forward, and the gigantic black ball of light gave off a powerful pressure as it quickly flew toward Zhao Fu. Bang! The gigantic black ball of light collided with the defensive barrier and exploded. The terrifying power destroyed everything in its surroundings, causing countless rocks and sand to fly everywhere. A shocking shockwave spread out, covering the entire city in an instant. The many experts in the city immediately felt this powerful shockwave. Smoke and dust scattered, and a 100-meter-wide crater appeared on the ground. Zhao Fu stood in the air, not injured at all. Everyone swallowed their saliva in shock. This person was too strong. Hu Ming shouted angrily, "If you have the ability, don't defend and fight me head-on." Zhao Fu chuckled and said, "As you wish." In that moment, Zhao Fu instantly disappeared and reappeared in front of Hu Ming. His leg gave off immense power as he kicked towards Hu Ming, hitting his abdomen and sending him flying backwards. Zhao Fu's leg was so fast that it seemed as if he was about to explode. He fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Hu Ming's face was filled with anger. He immediately climbed up and rushed towards Zhao Fu with a powerful force. Arriving in front of Zhao Fu, Hu Ming fiercely clawed at Zhao Fu, but Zhao Fu dodged to the side. Hu Ming's other claw clawed at Zhao Fu, causing Zhao Fu's body to retreat. Hu Ming immediately pounced forward like a black tiger. However, Zhao Fu suddenly stopped and punched out with shocking power towards the incoming Hu Ming. Hu Ming quickly placed his hands in front of him to block. Bang! A muffled sound rang out, and Hu Ming's body was knocked back 5 or 6 steps by the punch before he stopped. Boom! A powerful aura exploded out from Hu Ming's body. 2 black, poor tigers leapt out from his sides and quickly ran towards Zhao Fu from the left and right. The 2 poor tigers leapt and opened their mouths, biting towards Zhao Fu from the left and right. Zhao Fu opened his hands and easily grabbed the heads of the 2 poor tigers. He gripped tightly, and the 2 poor tigers exploded, turning into countless black auras that spread out. At that moment, Hu Ming rushed in front of Zhao Fu and punched towards Zhao Fu with a terrifying power that seemed to be able to destroy everything. Zhao Fu looked at Hu Ming with disdain, causing Hu Ming to be startled. A wave of power came out from Zhao Fu's body to protect him, and the terrifying power once again sent Hu Ming's body flying. He fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Hu Ming ferociously looked at Zhao Fu and crawled on the ground. All of the muscles on his body bulged, and black fur continuously grew out of his body. His body started to change, and he gave off an incredibly powerful power. Many black winds appeared in the surroundings, and the ground started to crack. In the end, his body completely turned into a poor tiger, and he gave off a terrifying aura. Boom! Hu Ming shot out like a black ray of light, bringing with him a black whirlwind. The ground was destroyed by the black whirlwind, creating a ravine. In that instant, Hu Ming rushed in front of Zhao Fu, and a terrifying power exploded out from Zhao Fu's body, causing Hu Ming's body to become sluggish. Zhao Fu's hand gave off a powerful aura as he grabbed Hu Ming's throat. He gripped tightly, causing Hu Ming to howl and his body to become powerless. Everyone stared at the scene in front of them with wide eyes. The difference in strength between the 2 sides was not small, and Hu Ming was completely suppressed by that person. Butterfly looked in front of her in shock. If she had fought with that person, she would have suffered the same fate. Xianshang looked at Zhao Fu seriously. He could finally confirm that Zhao Fu was far more powerful than him. Even though he could defeat Hu Ming, it would not be so easy. Lang Qing and the others smiled. The power that Zhao Fu had displayed made them believe in Zhao Fu even more. Zhao Fu looked at Hu Ming, who had turned back into his human form, and asked, "Who's looking to die now?" Hu Ming looked at Zhao Fu in terror. He now knew how terrifying Zhao Fu was. This person was even more terrifying than Xin Shang. How could he find him? Now that Zhao Fu had his hand on his neck, he could take his life at any moment. Hu Ming thought about the poor tiger tribe and said furiously, "Try and kill me if you dare." Zhao Fu lightly laughed. "I've killed people with more noble statuses than you. Do you think that I won't dare to kill a mere sorcerer's son like you?" Hearing this, Hu Ming became even more afraid. Just who was this person? However, Zhao Fu tightly gripped Hu Ming's neck, causing him to be unable to breathe. His legs flailed about, and he sensed an aura of death. He was about to beg Zhao Fu for mercy. "Stop!" A white-clothed, middle-aged man with a scholarly aura appeared. He gave off an extremely powerful aura. He was a higher being expert. Not only him, but other experts also appeared here one after another. They were all attracted by the explosive force. Zhao Fu was not so stupid as to dare to kill Hu Ming in the sorcerer race's holy land. He had just wanted to teach him a lesson, but seeing that the sorcerer race experts had come, Zhao Fu threw Hu Ming to the side. The scholarly middle-aged man looked at Zhao Fu and asked, "Who are you? Why are you fighting here?" Zhao Fu calmly smiled and said, "I'm a sorcerer's son who came to participate in the sorcerer ceremony. I didn't want to fight here, but this person came to find trouble with me, so I had no choice but to fight." The scholarly middle-aged man looked at Hu Ming, and Hu Ming tactfully lowered his head. This battle had indeed been caused by him. Chapter 28-34. Book 1. End of Book 1. 279. The scholarly-looking middle-aged man asked, "You don't look like someone from the witch race. Whose legacy did you obtain to become a witch son?" Zhao Fu replied, "I can't tell you that." The scholarly-looking man felt quite surprised. "What special identity does that person have? Why can't you tell me?" Zhao Fu replied, "That person's identity is indeed special." Hearing this, everyone looked at Zhao Fu curiously. With Zhao Fu's strength, that expert was most likely incredibly powerful, and everyone tried to guess who it was. After all, such a powerful person was definitely very famous. The scholarly-looking man's expression became serious, and he could sense that this matter was not simple. Zhao Fu thought that if he could not register, this expert might have a way to deal with it. As such, he bowed and said, "Senior, I have something that I need your help with." The scholarly-looking man asked, "What is it?" Zhao Fu said, "I don't know why I can't register here. Does Senior know why?" The scholarly-looking man felt quite confused. This sort of thing rarely happened. Normally, any witch son would be able to register successfully, so what was so special about this person? The scholarly-looking man said, "Go in and try. I'll see if there's any problem." Zhao Fu nodded and went back into the room. He stood at the center of the ring, which gave off a light, but the sorcerer magic staff did not give off any ripples. The scholarly-looking man waved his hand. An array of light shot into the sorcerer magic formation. His expression became serious as he found that there was a problem. The person in front of him surpassed the sorcerer magic staff senses. If that was the case, the matter would become very serious, because the sorcerer staffs of the three great sorcerer signs could all sense things, but this person had surpassed the sorcerer staff's ability to sense things. This meant that this person might be more powerful than the three great sorcerer signs of the sorcerer tribe. Through the sorcerer magic staff, he confirmed that Zhao Fu was a witch son and qualified to participate in the witch ceremony. Who could have such a terrifying legatee? The scholarly-looking man looked at Zhao Fu and said, "Just whose legatee are you?" A beautiful woman with an alluring figure and wearing a red dress walked in. Looking at the scholarly-looking man's serious expression, she asked in confusion, "What is it?" The scholarly man replied, "He's beyond the perception of a magus spell formation." The beautiful woman in the red dress looked at Zhao Fu in shock and said, "In the history of the witch tribe, there were only a few people who could surpass the witch array's perception." The scholarly man said, Yes, that's why I wanted to ask whose successor he is. The red-robed woman looked at Zhao Fu. Then who exactly are you? Everyone was also looking at Zhao Fu. They were extremely shocked. They didn't think that the person in front of them would be so terrifying. In the history of the sorcerer tribe, there was no doubt that he was the person who controlled the sorcerer tribe's lifeline. Xianshang was shocked. He had underestimated Zhao Fu. Hu Ming was also a little afraid in his heart. Zhao Fu actually had such a great background. Then if he offended Zhao Fu, the outcome would not be good. Lang Yi and the rest looked at Zhao Fu in astonishment. Things had exceeded their imagination. Zhao Fu didn't want his identity to be revealed, so he said, "I can't tell you." The scholarly man and the beautiful woman in the red dress were put in a difficult position. They really wanted to know Zhao Fu's identity, but if Zhao Fu didn't want to say, they couldn't force him. After all, Zhao Fu's background was very terrifying. Zhao Fu asked, "Is there any other way to enter the witch tribe's holy land to participate in the Magus ceremony?" The scholarly man said, "Actually, it's not very difficult." The scholarly man stretched out a hand, and a green energy condensed in his palm, forming a ball of light with a green bird inside. The scholarly man threw the ball of light toward Zhao Fu and said, "This is my wind bird tribe's totem proof. As long as you fuse this into your body, you can enter the Holy Land." Zhao Fu took the ball of light and said with a smile, "Thank you, Senior." After putting away the ball of light, Zhao Fu brought Lang Yi and the others and left. News of someone defeating the 8 great witch sons and surpassing the detection of the sorcerer formation quickly spread, shocking everyone. Now, the witch race was facing a crisis. They had to face the threat of the desolate ancient dragon race, as well as the terrifying desolate ancient dragon race's young lord. No one in the witch race could compare to the desolate ancient dragon race's young lord. Now that such a person had suddenly appeared, the witch race's experts felt incredibly delighted. When the other witch sons heard this news, they felt immense pressure. Someone who exceeded their expectations had appeared, making them feel quite helpless. This was especially so for the 8 great shaman science. They had been the ones who had received the most attention and were the most likely candidates to become the young chief of the sorcerer race. However, now that Zhao Fu had appeared, he had completely suppressed the 8 great shaman science and became the most likely person to become the young chief. After all, only someone like Zhao Fu, who surpassed the detection of the magic staff, had a slight chance of resisting the dragon race's young lord. The 8 great witch sons could only be crushed by the dragon race's young lord. However, they had never imagined that Zhao Fu was the desolate ancient dragon race's young lord. In the courtyard, there was a young man in white with a masculine aura. He was the Yuan Long tribe's witch son, named Yuan Ye. He was one of the 3 geniuses of the witch race, and was also the strongest among the 8 great witch sons. He was also the one who had the highest chance of becoming the young lord. Yuan Ye looked at Xianshang and asked, "You've interacted with him before. Can you tell what kind of person he is?" Xianshang thought about it and said in a low voice, "The aura he gives off is very complicated. It's overbearing, dignified, noble, sharp, bloodthirsty, evil, holy, and gentle. It's as if he's a combination of all kinds of powers and personalities. However, with his personality, he's easy to get along with. Also, he's here to inherit the young lord's legacy. He sounds very confident. I think he has the ability to become the young lord." Yuan Ye sighed. "From your description, I can't understand the difference between me and him. I don't think I can compare to him." An ugly, fat young man next to him said coldly, "You're the strongest among the 8 great witch sons. Without meeting him, you've lost your confidence. What a waste of talent and power." His name was Frog Cow, and he was one of the 3 geniuses of the witch race. He belonged to the evil frog tribe, and the people of the evil frog tribe were all very ugly. Yuan Ye said unhappily, "Frog Cow, do you think I'm really that weak? I know that I'm definitely not the desolate ancient dragon race's young lord's match. I also hope that someone stronger than me will become the young lord of the witch race. Only then will I be able to resist the desolate ancient dragon race's young lord. Xianshang sighed. Previously, I personally went to gather information about the desolate ancient dragon race's young lord. The rumors about him are all true. He's even more terrifying than we thought. Not only does he have the origin dragon blood, but he also has 3 supreme sword intents. Chapter 2835. Book 1, Chapter 280 right now. There's a good chance that he will become the son of chaos and rule over the entire primal chaos world. If we can't stop such a person, our witch clan will definitely be exterminated. Yuan Mia nodded. Right now, the higher-ups of the witch clan have been having a headache over this matter. This is also one of the reasons why the witch clan is so vigilant. My original confidence has been completely destroyed by him, and I still don't have any thoughts about the junior chief position. Xianshang said worriedly. I also don't have any thoughts about the junior chief position. As long as someone is stronger than me and can fight against the desolate ancient dragon clan's junior chief, I will approve of him. The frog cow coldly harumphed. I won't be like you guys. Even if the desolate ancient dragon clan's junior chief comes, I won't be afraid. Even if I die, I will heavily injure him. Yuan Mia said, I think you still don't understand how terrifying he is. In the future, if you meet him and can injure him, I'll consider you powerful. However, it's very likely that you will easily die at his hands. The frog cow laughed. I believe that with my strength, I won't be able to injure him. Yuan Mia said provocatively as he laughed. Right now, the shaman spirit's strength is unfathomable, and he might be able to fight against the desolate ancient dragon clan's junior chief. If you have the ability to defeat him, if he can't, then don't even think about fighting against the desolate ancient dragon clan's junior chief. The frog cow laughed as he said, I'll go find him now. Within the room, Lang Qing sat in Zhao Fu's embrace as she laughed and said, You've given us too much of a surprise. Meeting you is like a dream. Lang Lulu sat on the other side of Zhao Fu and looked at Zhao Fu as she asked, Your identity is so terrifying, so why did you take a fancy to us? Also, will you abandon us? The women looked at Zhao Fu, feeling quite worried. After all, Zhao Fu's identity was very different from theirs. Zhao Fu lightly laughed and said, Don't worry, I've never abandoned a woman before. I will take care of you. Lang Lulu happily nodded. We will also properly serve you. Boom! A powerful aura spread out, causing countless people in the inn to feel shocked and feel a sense of danger. Shaman spirit, come out. A man's voice rang out. The women looked at Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu frowned. He brought his people out of the room and saw an ugly and fat man in front of the inn. There were already a lot of people who knew Frog Cow's identity. They were curious as to why Frog Cow was looking for that person. Someone predicted that something would happen. Zhao Fu looked at the frog cow and asked, What's the matter? The frog bull smiled and said, I am the frog bull tribe's Wuzi. I want to have a match with you. Lang Qing stood beside Zhao Fu and told Zhao Fu about Bullfrog, letting Zhao Fu know that Bullfrog was one of the 3 geniuses of the witch tribe. Zhao Fu frowned. I don't have time to spar with you. Frog Bull laughed insolently and said, But I want to compete with you. Zhao Fu said coldly, You can still make it if you scram now. The surrounding people were shocked and guessed who Zhao Fu was. He actually dared to speak to Frog Bull like that. Some people quickly recognized Zhao Fu as the person who had defeated Hu Ming. Only then did everyone understand what was going on. Hearing this, Frog Bull said angrily, If you have the ability, come to the arena. Zhao Fu coldly harumphed. Do you think I'm afraid of you? The two of them came to the arena. Countless people heard that Zhao Fu was going to fight Bullfrog again and ran over excitedly. They wanted to see the battle between the two of them. Xianshang and Yuan Mia also came. They also wanted to see how strong Zhao Fu was and how he would defeat Frog Bull. Frog Bull was clear about Zhao Fu's strength, so he used his full strength from the start. He crawled on the ground, and his body swelled up like a toad, emitting a powerful and disgusting aura. Zhao Fu stood at his original position without moving. Boom! Frog Bull leapt forward, and his body shot forward like a cannonball, causing the ground to cave in. One of Zhao Fu's hands emitted a black light and pushed forward with a powerful force. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. Frog Bull was blocked by one of Zhao Fu's hands, and a strong wind spread out in all directions. Frog Bull twisted his body and kicked towards Zhao Fu with a powerful force. Zhao Fu retracted his hand and blocked Frog Bull's kick. Frog Bull's body retreated and opened its mouth to spit out a yellow chi bullet toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu dodged to the side and pushed out with his hand, sending a massive wave of energy towards the frog cow. Frog Bull used both of his hands to block in front of him, and his body was pushed back 5 or 6 steps by the huge force. Zhao Fu's body then appeared on Frog Bull's body and kicked towards Frog Bull's back. The fat on Frog Bull's back became bigger. Bang! Frog Bull was sent flying by Zhao Fu's kick, but the fat on his body blocked most of the force, causing him to not be injured. However, his expression became serious because he understood that Zhao Fu's strength was indeed terrifying. Zhao Fu's face was cold as he quickly rushed towards Frog Bull. He arrived in front of Frog Bull and punched towards Frog Bull with a powerful force. Frog Bull immediately used both of his hands to block, but he was unable to block at all. His body continuously retreated and his hands felt immense pain. Boom! A powerful aura burst out from Frog Bull's body. A huge yellow frog appeared behind Frog Bull, and its tongue shot out like a spear, bringing with it a blurry scene. Zhao Fu stretched out his hand and grabbed the tongue that was shot over. Then, he used his strength to fling the huge frog away. Frog Bull crawled on the ground, and with a powerful force, it fiercely charged towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu stretched out his hand to block, blocking Frog Bull's body. He felt as though he had been hit by a ferocious beast, and his body also took a step back. Frog Bull pushed against Zhao Fu's body and retreated. Zhao Fu coldly snorted. He placed one leg on the ground and pushed forward with one hand, causing Frog Bull's body to fly away. His other hand gave off a black light and slapped forward. A black palm carrying a terrifying force struck Frog Bull's body. Bang! A muffled sound came out as Frog Bull's body was sent flying, and it spat out a large mouthful of blood. Frog Bull looked at Zhao Fu angrily. Many yellow stripes spread out from its body, and an even more powerful force spread out. Swish! Frog Bull's body disappeared, and in the next second, it appeared behind Zhao Fu. It opened its mouth and bit toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu's arm gave off a black light and slashed backwards, bringing with it a sword light that cut Frog Bull's body in half. However, Frog Bull's body turned into countless amounts of yellow liquid that splashed out. Zhao Fu immediately activated his defensive barrier and blocked the yellow liquid. The yellow liquid was like acid. It corroded Zhao Fu's black barrier and quickly dissolved Zhao Fu's barrier. Zhao Fu looked at Frog Bull that appeared on the other side. Frog Bull's strength was indeed much stronger than Hu Ming. Peak. Chapter 28:36. Book 1, Chapter 2:81. Zhao Fu looked at the Frog Bull and revealed a smile. "You're a little powerful." The Frog Bull snorted coldly and charged towards Zhao Fu at an extremely fast speed, leaving behind a series of afterimages. After charging in front of Zhao Fu, he slapped towards Zhao Fu with a powerful force. Zhao Fu moved to the side and dodged the attack. The Frog Bull twisted his body and kicked toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu stretched out his hand and grabbed the kick. The Frog Bull used his other leg to kick toward Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu used his other hand to grab his leg. Bang! The Frog Bull's body exploded once again, and countless amounts of yellow liquid splattered. An invisible force blocked in front of Zhao Fu, blocking the yellow liquid. However, in the next second, the Frog Bull's body appeared behind Zhao Fu again. Its body swelled up, and a huge explosion sounded out. A large amount of yellow liquid splattered, and some of it stained Zhao Fu's body. The liquid that landed on the ground dissolved the ground, and very quickly, holes appeared on the ground. The Frog Bull revealed a smile. This person was stained with so much of his yellow liquid. Even if he didn't die, he would be heavily injured. The others looked at the scene in front of them and were shocked. However, the yellow liquid on Zhao Fu's body only dissolved a part of Zhao Fu's cloak, but it didn't harm Zhao Fu at all. This was because Zhao Fu's physique was already abnormally strong. Zhao Fu had a disdainful smile on his face. "You think that thing can harm me?" The frog bull was astonished. He didn't expect that the frog melted water that he was very confident and would not be able to harm him. This was almost impossible. Zhao Fu opened his mouth and said, "I'm going to get serious too." As soon as he finished speaking, a wave of qi spread out. Zhao Fu's body disappeared and appeared in front of the frog bull. He punched toward the frog bull with a powerful force. The frog bull loudly roared, and its palm carried a similarly powerful force as it struck toward Zhao Fu. Bang! The two hands clashed together, and a muffled sound rang out. Frog Cow's body retreated a few steps, and Zhao Fu appeared behind Frog Cow again. He punched Frog Cow's back, and Frog Cow was sent flying. Zhao Fu appeared beside Frog Cow, and his fist carried a terrifying power as it struck Frog Cow's stomach. Bang! A muffled sound rang out as the Frog Cow's body smashed into the ground. A powerful force spread out, causing the ground to crack. The frog bull spat out a mouthful of blood and suddenly spread out. Zhao Fu felt danger and immediately dodged to the side. Xiao! A blood-red tongue shot out with astonishing power, seeming as if it could pierce through tough steel. It shot out as fast as light. The frog cow retracted its blood-colored tongue and lay on the ground, looking at Zhao Fu with a fierce expression. Its body swelled up, becoming twice as large as before, and it emitted an even more powerful aura. Xiao! The frog bull opened its mouth, and its blood-colored tongue once again shot out black. It shot toward Zhao Fu at an extremely fast speed, like a ray of blood-colored light. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, and a powerful energy spread out, forming a black defensive barrier in front of him that gave off a powerful aura. Bang! The blood-colored tongue actually pierced through the tough defensive barrier and continued towards Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu's body leapt into the air, dodging this attack. The frog bull quickly retracted its tongue, and it raised its head to look at Zhao Fu in the sky. Its tongue once again shot out. Zhao Fu's expression became cold. He stretched out a finger, and a sharp sword light shot out. The blood-colored tongue and the sword light clashed, and the black sword light sliced the tongue apart. The frog bull felt pain, and it immediately retracted its tongue. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, and a black demonic claw with a terrifying aura slammed towards the frog bull. The frog bull hurriedly dodged to the side, and the demonic claw slammed into the ground, leaving a claw mark. Xiao! The frog bull once again shot out its tongue. The blood-colored tongue gave off a large amount of blood-colored light, and it shot toward Zhao Fu with a powerful force. Zhao Fu raised his sword finger, and a powerful force entered his sword finger. The sword finger gave off a black sword light, and a shocking aura spread out. Clang! Zhao Fu slashed forward with his sword finger, and a black crescent containing terrifying sword energy slashed forward. Boom! The two clashed again, and a shockwave spread out. The blood-colored tongue was slashed apart by the black crescent, and blood splattered everywhere, causing the frog bull to cry out in pain. Zhao Fu was about to rush towards the frog bull. The frog bull gave off a powerful force, and a gigantic yellow frog appeared in the sky. It opened its mouth extremely quickly and swallowed Zhao Fu's body before stopping in midair. The frog bull's expression became serious, and it looked at the gigantic frog in the sky. It did not know if this attack could heavily injure it. Bang! A massive sound rang out, and the gigantic frog exploded, causing a wild gale to blow in all directions. Zhao Fu's body once again appeared in front of everyone, and he was not injured at all. Boom! A powerful aura exploded out from Zhao Fu's body, and he rushed towards the frog bull on the ground like a surging river. The frog bull felt such a powerful aura, and it felt a bit afraid. It immediately retaliated, and it opened its mouth. Countless amounts of energy condensed, forming a watermelon-sized yellow ball of light. It gave off a shocking aura, causing people to feel fear. Zhao Fu rushed in front of the frog bowl, and he opened his hand. A massive wave of energy flowed out, and a black ball of light appeared in his palm, giving off a destructive aura. The ball of light in the frog bowl's mouth shot toward Zhao Fu, while the black ball of light in Zhao Fu's hand gave off a ferocious aura as it shot towards the frog bowl. Bang! The two balls of light collided, resulting in an intense explosion. A terrifying explosion spread out, and a huge crater was formed on the ground. Countless rocks shot out like bullets, and smoke and dust spread out in all directions. Zhao Fu and the frog bull were both sent flying. The frog bull fell to the ground, blood flowing out of its mouth and body, and it seemed to be heavily injured. Zhao Fu stood in the air and was not injured at all. Looking at the frog bull on the ground, Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, and a sharp black sword light condensed in his palm, aiming at the frog bull on the ground. The frog bull immediately said in fear, "I admit defeat." After fighting for so long, the frog bull had not been able to injure Zhao Fu. He already understood how strong Zhao Fu was, and even if there were 10 of him, he would not be a match for Zhao Fu. Although he still had some techniques that he had not used, there was no point in fighting against Zhao Fu. The surrounding people were not surprised, because from the start of the battle, it could be seen that Zhao Fu was much stronger than the frog bull. The frog bull had always been suppressed by Zhao Fu, and it was difficult for him to deal with the situation. However, this person's strength was too terrifying. The frog bull, one of the 3 geniuses of the witch race, could not resist at all, let alone ordinary witch sons. Apex. Chapter 28:37. Book 1, Chapter 2:82. Xianshang and Yuan Mie had already expected this result. They were happy about Frog Bull's defeat because he proved that Zhao Fu's power was terrifying. It was more likely that he would be able to resist the desolate ancient dragon clan's young master. The stronger Zhao Fu was, the happier they were. Zhao Fu looked at Frog Bull and said, "Do you think that everything will be fine if you admit defeat?" Frog Bull's expression was ugly. "What do you want?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "What did you just say at the end? Say it again." Frog Bull was furious, but facing Zhao Fu's power, he could only give in and said, "I'm not as strong as you. I asked for it. I'll scram now." This time, he had indeed underestimated Zhao Fu's power and overestimated his power. He had thought that as one of the 3 geniuses of the witch tribe, his power and talent were top-notch. No matter how strong the others were, they would not be much stronger. But reality slapped him in the face. His power and talent were not worth mentioning to others. He could not even defeat the person in front of him, let alone the desolate ancient dragon clan's young master who had the dragon's blood. That person was even scarier than the person in front of him. Frog Bull did not know that the person in front of him was the desolate ancient dragon clan's young master. It was too embarrassing to stay here. Frog Bull climbed up from the ground and quickly left. He did not want to stay here any longer. Everyone looked at Zhao Fu in the sky and became excited. They thought that Zhao Fu would definitely be the witch tribe's young master. Yuan Mie did not have the ability to compete with him. Zhao Fu descended from the sky. Xianshang and Yuan Mie smiled and walked over. Yuan Mie smiled and said, "I'm Yuan Mie from the Yunlong tribe." Zhao Fu had not heard of his name before, but seeing that he was with Xianshang and that his aura was very strong, he should be one of the 8 witch sons. He smiled and nodded. "I'm Wu Ling." Yuan Mie smiled and said, "I've heard of you. Now that I've seen you, you are indeed extraordinary. I will also support you to become the witch tribe's young master." Hearing this, everyone was surprised. Even the #1 genius of the witch tribe, Yuan Mie, supported that person. That person would definitely become the young master. Otherwise, it would be too surprising. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Your strength is also not bad." Yuan Mie smiled and said, "I would like to invite you to a restaurant for a drink. How about we have a good chat?" Now, Yuan Mie wanted to know more about Zhao Fu. He also wanted to build a good relationship with Zhao Fu. In the future, he would be the young clan head. Building a good relationship would be of great use. Zhao Fu thought about it and nodded in agreement. Boom! An explosion suddenly sounded out, shaking the entire city. A silver beam of light shot into the sky, and a massive aura spread out like a flood. Under this powerful aura, everyone felt as if they were in a world of ice and snow. They felt a chill as if their flesh was being cut. That aura was coming from the registration point. Everyone looked in that direction and understood that something big had happened there. Zhao Fu frowned when he sensed this power. The beam of light formed a silver-white pillar of light, and countless traces of power gathered in the sky, forming an enormous vortex that gave off a shocking aura. Yuan Ye said, "Let's go and see what's going on." Xian nodded. Zhao Fu already understood what was going on, but he still decided to go and take a look. This abnormal sign not only attracted the attention of Zhao Fu and the others, but it also attracted the attention of the sorcerer race's experts, who immediately went to that place. Countless people stood in front of the registration point. The surrounding heaven and earth power continued to fuse into the silver-white pillar of light, and the aura it gave off became more and more powerful. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a massive three-eyed figure appeared in the sky, giving off an incredibly powerful sorcerer power. A line of large words appeared. Immortal Sovereign Shaman Spirit's Legatee. Sorcerer Seal Grade 10. Talent surpasses perception. Looking at the large words in the sky, the surroundings burst into an uproar. The various experts all looked shocked. They had never thought that an Immortal Sovereign's Legatee would appear. Immortal Sovereign Shaman Spirit was the last person from the sorcerer race to ascend to the celestial world, and she had a might that could shake the heavens and earth. Under her leadership, the sorcerer race had become incredibly powerful, and this was a golden age for the sorcerer race. It was a pity that after Immortal Sovereign Shaman Spirit ascended, no one from the sorcerer race could replace her, and the sorcerer race was not as powerful as before. If there was a mortal sovereign, they would not have to fear the primordial dragon race, but the primordial dragon race would be afraid of them. Now that the Immortal Sovereign's Legatee had appeared, this was an incredibly good thing for them. Perhaps they could rely on the Immortal Sovereign's Legatee to defend against the primordial dragon race's young master. As the Immortal Sovereign's Legatee, this person definitely had potential and strength. The Sorcerer Seal displayed was all level 10, which was above the 8 Shaman Science. After all, the 8 Shaman Science Sorcerer Seals were only level 9, while his was level 10. His talent surpassed the staff's perception, so it could not be displayed. This indirectly proved his potential. Everyone smiled excitedly. The sorcerer race had the Immortal Sovereign's Legatee, so they were not that worried about the primordial dragon race. Perhaps the Immortal Sovereign had already predicted this would happen. The abnormal signs in the surroundings started to disappear, and a person wearing a silver-white cloak walked out. From her figure, she seemed to be a woman, and she was the Immortal Sovereign's Legatee. The various experts immediately surrounded her passionately, and she was even more popular than Zhao Fu. After all, Zhao Fu had only deduced that someone's talent surpassed the staff's perception, while this person was the Immortal Sovereign's Legatee with a level 10 sorcerer seal, and her talent also surpassed the staff's perception. It was evident that they valued the Immortal Sovereign's Legatee. Zhao Fu looked at her and hid his aura. He was also the Immortal Sovereign Shaman Spirit's Legatee, and he had obtained it from where Long Wushui was sealed. He did not know where this person had obtained the Legatee. Zhao Fu's Sorcerer Seal was also level 10. She did not know what had happened, but Zhao Fu did not react at all in a ring, while she could cause such a huge commotion. Many experts invited her to a guest room and spread the news. Very quickly, the various tribes of the Sorcerer tribe knew about this, and the various experts also rushed over. The atmosphere of the Sorcerer tribe became lively, and it was not as oppressive as before. Zhao Fu did not care about this, and stayed in the inn to comprehend sorcerer power. The only threat now was this Immortal Sovereign's Legatee. He could only use sorcerer power in the Sorcerer tribe's holy land, and Zhao Fu had to control it well. Xian Shang and Yuan Mie were in a difficult position. They had originally supported Zhao Fu, but now there was another immortal sovereign's legatee, and her status and potential were even more shocking. Now, the limelight was completely suppressed by Zhao Fu, but they had seen Zhao Fu's power with their own eyes and understood how powerful Zhao Fu was. Zhao Fu still had a good chance of becoming the young tribe leader. In the end, they chose not to offend either side and supported both sides. Most of the other sorcerer's sons supported the immortal sovereign's legatee, and many people had already predicted that the young tribe leader would definitely be one of the two. Chapter 2838. Book 1, Chapter 283. A few days later, the sorcerer tribe's mega ceremony officially began. Countless people came to the front of a vast forest. There were many rectangular platforms that were 10 meters tall. On them were sumptuous fruits and food. Many masked sorcerers in sorcerer robes danced primitive dances on them. The various tribe leaders stood in front of the stone platforms, followed by the sorcerer's sons of the various tribes. Behind them were countless commoners. The scene was very lively and grand. The crowd was led by an old woman with a wooden staff. It seemed like she had the highest status. The forest in front of them was where the ancestors of the sorcerer tribe had lived. Now, it was surrounded by all sorts of arrays and restrictions. It had become the holy land of the sorcerer tribe. The powerful sorcerer tribe had also left behind countless inheritances and treasures. It was very attractive. Zhao Fu stood at the front, while the other celestial lord successor stood at the side. Because Zhao Fu and she had the greatest potential as the representatives of the sorcerer's sons, they had to stand at the front. Otherwise, Zhao Fu did not want to attract so much attention right from the start. Zhao Fu knew a little about the identity of the other celestial lord successor. She was a pure sorcerer tribe member. It was said that she was related to the celestial lord by blood. Her name was Wu Ying. The old woman looked at the forest in front of them with a deep gaze. Her voice was hoarse as she shouted, "We will not forget our ancestors. Today, we will worship our ancestors and pray for their blessings." With that, the old woman bowed. All the tribe leaders bowed as well. Everyone else bowed as well. Zhao Fu was no exception. If he was the only one who did not bow, it would be too obvious. Boom! Countless beams of light shot out of the air from the forest. They shot towards the people standing in front of the forest with a huge aura, forming a path of light. The old woman shouted, "Begin the Magus ceremony." The old woman and the tribe leaders walked to the side and looked at Zhao Fu and the rest who were standing behind them. Zhao Fu and the rest walked forward and followed the path of light into the forest. Sorcerer's sons entered the forest continuously. The elegant middle-aged man asked, "I wonder who will be the young tribe leader this time." The beautiful woman in the red dress smiled and said, "If there are no accidents, the young tribe leader will be chosen between Wu Ling and Wu Ying. But personally, I think Wu Ying will win." The handsome young man chuckled and said, "I also think more highly of her. She is the descendant of the celestial reverend, and her aptitude is beyond our perception. She has a level 10 wizard seal, and her bloodline is related to the celestial reverend. She can be said to be the perfect successor to the young clan leader." The old woman also nodded. "Indeed, there is no one more outstanding than her," the elegant middle-aged man said in a deep voice. "On the surface, she is indeed the most suitable person, but I have a faint feeling that this Wu Ling is not simple. His origin is too mysterious, and I didn't get any information from him. He is deliberately hiding his identity." The cold-looking, beautiful woman said, "You're right about that. I'm also curious as to why he's hiding his identity. Is there something you don't want to tell us? Also, the strength that this person has displayed is unfathomable. Perhaps he will become the young master of the sorcerer tribe. But is it good to let someone like him become the young master?" The old woman replied, "It's nothing. Since he has the qualifications, we can't stop him." The elegant middle-aged man sighed. "Indeed, there's no point in talking about him now. Let's see how they perform in the Holy Land." Zhao Fu entered the forest and looked around before saying to Lang Qing, "Follow me." Lang Qing was also a sorcerer child of a tribe and was qualified to participate in the Magus ceremony, so he happily smiled and nodded. Wu Ying looked at Zhao Fu, who was leaving, and a serious expression appeared on her face. She had heard some information about Zhao Fu, and she cared about Zhao Fu a lot. After all, Zhao Fu was also a strong candidate to become the young master. She had been trying to sense Zhao Fu's strength from the beginning, but she was still unable to sense Zhao Fu's strength. If even she could not sense Zhao Fu's strength, then Zhao Fu's strength would definitely be terrifying, and he would definitely not be weaker than her. An enchanting woman walked over to her side and smiled as she asked, "What is it?" She was the sorcerer child of Luo Shi tribe, and her name was Shi Yumeng. She was also one of the 8 great sorcerer children, and she had become Wu Ying's friend in the past few days. Wu Ying said, "I feel that the sorcerer's spirit is very strong." Shi Yumeng laughed lightly. "Yes, we've heard of him before, but I still think that you will become the young master of the sorcerer tribe." Wu Ying said softly, "Maybe not." Shi Yumeng said, "Then why don't we catch up to him and have a competition to see who is stronger? I think only he is a threat. If we get rid of him, no one will be able to stop you." Wu Ying thought for a while. Now that the Magus ceremony has just started, it's not very suitable. Let's save our battle for last. Xian Shang, Yuan Mia, and Frog Cow stood at the side. They were originally the 3 great geniuses of the sorcerer tribe, and were loved and worshipped by countless people. But now, it was as if they had lost their light. Wu Ying and Zhao Fu had stolen the limelight, and very few people paid attention to them. What should we do next? Xian Shang looked at Wu Ying and asked. Frog Cow said, "Anyway, it's impossible for us to become the young master. Let's go and do our own things. There are many good things in this sacred ground." Previously, after Frog Cow was defeated by Zhao Fu, he lost his arrogance and became low-key. Yuan Mian nodded. Their battle should be at the end. We don't need to do anything now. The people standing outside the sacred ground use a secret technique, causing the image of everyone to be shown in the sky. Lang Qing followed behind Zhao Fu and asked, "Sorcerer Spirit, where should we go now?" As Zhao Fu flew in the sky, he sensed the surroundings. "I also don't know. Let's see what treasures there are first." Xiao. At this moment, a huge black vine shot out from the ground. With a powerful aura, it shot towards Zhao Fu and Lang Qing at an extremely fast speed. Zhao Fu stretched out his hand and grabbed at the air, causing a massive formless hand to grab the vine. The vine vigorously twisted and grew, looking like a black python. When the black vine realized that it could not escape from Zhao Fu's hand, it immediately grew rows of 3-meter-long spikes. The spikes were blood red and emitted a cold, steel-like light. With a force, they shot toward Zhao Fu. A defensive barrier appeared around Zhao Fu's body, covering Zhao Fu and Lang Qing's body. The densely packed spikes hit the defensive barrier and made sounds, but they did not cause any damage to Zhao Fu. Not only Zhao Fu was attacked, the other sorcerer's sons were also attacked in different ways. Some were grass that grew on the ground. They suddenly grew quickly and wrapped around a sorcerer's son's body. Some were trees that came to life and opened their mouths to swallow a sorcerer's son. Some flowers suddenly flew out. They were as sharp as blades and cut people's bodies. Chapter 2839. Book 1. Chapter 284. Every tree, flower, and blade of grass in the forest seemed to be alive and gave off a dangerous aura. Those who were attacked were not in mortal danger. These plants would not kill the Magi's sons, but they would devour their blood. This was the first blood sacrifice of the Magi priests, using the blood of the Magi's sons to worship the Holy Land. Countless plants had absorbed the blood of the previous Magi's sons, and the Magi's sons were the strongest and had the highest potential in each tribe. By absorbing their blood, these plants had the effect of restraining shaman power. If one was caught by these plants and did not break free immediately, they would lose a large amount of blood, and their bodies would be automatically teleported out. Swish, 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 the originally soft grass on the ground immediately became taut and shot out like swords. The few of them hurriedly used their defensive barriers to block, but the grass swords were extremely sharp. One by one, the grass swords pierced through the defensive barriers, causing the few of them to retreat in fear. Whoosh! A large tree behind them came to life, and countless branches stabbed towards the few people. They were not prepared, and their bodies were pierced by the countless branches. The branches immediately absorbed their blood. The few people hurriedly broke free and attacked the branches. Beams of cold light slashed on the branches, cutting them apart. This enraged the large tree, and it crazily grew branches towards the Magi's sons. The few people also started a fight with the large tree. A delicate-looking young man held a saber and carefully walked in the forest. Suddenly, a wall-climbing grass quickly extended from the ground. The young man swung his saber, and with a cold light, he cut the wall-climbing grass in half. However, two wall-climbing vines suddenly extended from the left and right, binding his legs. The young man immediately swung his saber, wanting to open the vines that bound his legs, but another wall-climbing grass shot out and wrapped around his arm. The young man tried to break free. A few more wall-climbing grass shot out and wrapped around the young man's body, tying him up. The young man struggled, but could not break free. At that moment, the leaves of the wall-climbing grass cut the young man's body like blades, absorbing his blood. The young man's aura slowly weakened, and he finally fell unconscious from excessive blood loss. A ball of light spread out from his body and enveloped the young man's body. The young man's body slowly disappeared. That ball of light was the ball of light that had been obtained during registration. Other than using the ball of light to enter the Holy Land, the ball of light also had the function of protecting the Wusan. The young man disappeared from where he was, and the climbing weeds quickly retreated as well. The surroundings returned to peace. You turn to look at Zhao Fu. Seeing that its spikes could not reach Zhao Fu, the massive black vine quickly grew and whipped towards Zhao Fu with great force, bringing with it a gust of wind. Zhao Fu lightly laughed and smashed his hand against the ground, smashing the vine to the ground. The vine quickly crawled back up and gave off a powerful aura as it shot towards Zhao Fu like a python. Clang! Zhao Fu raised a hand, and his palm gave off a black sword light as he slashed out, sending out a terrifying black sword light. Chi! The black vine was slashed apart by the black sword light, causing black liquid to fly everywhere, and a fist-sized blood jade floated in the air. Zhao Fu stretched out his hand and grabbed, and the blood jade flew in front of Zhao Fu. Many plants could absorb Wu Sun's blood and could suppress shaman power. They could also condense shaman blood jade within their bodies, which could increase one's shaman power and change one's constitution. What was important was that there were no side effects. Zhao Fu looked at the shaman blood jade in his hand before handing it to Lang Qing. This thing was not very useful to him. Lang Qing happily received the shaman blood jade. This shaman blood jade was not very useful to Zhao Fu, but it was very useful to her. She said, "Thank you." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I already said that I wouldn't mistreat you. In the future, I'll make some things to increase your potential and power." Lang Qing sweetly smiled as she said, "You're too good to me." Zhao Fu said, "Let's keep going. We'll kill a few more plants and help Lang Lu and the others obtain a few shaman blood jades." Lang Qing smiled as she nodded. Wu Ying had also been attacked, and she was also flying in the sky. In actuality, even though there were many plants on the ground, it was relatively safer. After all, flying in the sky would attract the attention of countless powerful plants, and they would prioritize attacking people in the sky. If one did not have great power, flying in the sky would be seeking death. What had attacked Wu Ying was a 100-meter-tall chrysanthemum-shaped flower. It sprayed out countless amounts of white pollen that flew towards Wu Ying like sand. The pollen was poisonous, and just breathing in a bit would cause a Wu Sun to fall unconscious. Wu Ying stretched out a white hand, and a silver-white spiral force spread out, sucking in all the pollen that was flying towards her, forming a 2-meter-wide flower ball. Every petal of the massive flower became sharp, and the flower brought with it a wave of power as it shot towards Wu Ying. Wu Ying did not move, and a silver-white barrier of light appeared around her body. Bang! The petals slashed against the barrier, but the barrier was not damaged at all. Instead, the petals shattered. It could be seen how powerful Wu Ying was. The massive flower was not willing to give up, and it gave off an even more powerful aura as it whipped towards Wu Ying, as if it could shatter a mountain. Wu Ying stretched out a hand, and a silver-white beam of light containing terrifying power flew out. Bang! The silver-white beam of light hit the massive flower, piercing through its body. A massive sound rang out as the massive flower collapsed, and a fist-sized shaman blood jade flew out. Wu Ying glanced at it, but she was not very interested in it. Xianshang was also flying in the sky when he was attacked by a massive bamboo. This bamboo was very tough, and Xianshang's attacks could only cause some damage to it. He had to use a lot of power to kill it. Yuan Mie encountered a massive mushroom. This mushroom did not seem to have any attack power, but it gave off a dangerous stench. This stench could not be blocked by normal barriers, and after inhaling it, mold would appear on one's body, causing great harm to one's body. Frog Cow had also encountered a vine, but he wasn't as strong as Zhao Fu, so he had to spend some time to kill it. He put away the shaman blood jade that he had obtained, as this grade of shaman blood jade was still somewhat useful to him. Frog Cow had encountered a vine, but he didn't have the strength to deal with it. Almost all of the 8 great shamans chose to fly in the sky, and they were attacked by the powerful plants. The others also flew in the sky, and some were injured, while others were heavily injured, and their blood was absorbed by the powerful plants. Chapter 2840. Book 1. Chapter 285. After killing a few more plants, Zhao Fu sent something and brought Lang Qing to a tombstone. The tombstone was 100 meters tall and seemed to be made of green jade. The words "Witch's Tomb" were carved on it, and the words were elegant and thin, as if they were constantly changing. Lang Qing asked curiously, "What is this place?" Zhao Fu looked at the tombstone and replied, "I don't know, but there might be something I want in there. You stay here for now." Lang Qing smiled and nodded. Zhao Fu flew into the tombstone and came to a dark and eerie space. It seemed to be a passageway, and it was surrounded by walls. As Zhao Fu appeared, the scarecrow's eyes flashed with a strange blood-red light as they slowly got up from the ground. Their blood-red eyes looked at Zhao Fu, seeming incredibly horrifying in the darkness and causing one's hairs to stand on end. After these scarecrows appeared, they did not do anything and just stood there in a daze. Zhao Fu felt quite confused and took a step forward, and the scarecrows also took a step forward. Seeing this, Zhao Fu frowned and took another step forward, and the scarecrows did the same. Were these scarecrows imitating him? Zhao Fu thought to himself and waved his finger, causing a sharp black crescent to slash out, slashing apart a few scarecrows' bodies. Grass flew everywhere, and it seemed as if they could not resist at all. However, something strange happened next. The slashed straws slowly crawled back up, and their bodies reformed, while the grass flew back to the scarecrows. Zhao Fu's body felt pain, as if he had been slashed by a sword. However, he was not injured, and it only hurt a little. The scarecrows continued to use their blood-red eyes to look at Zhao Fu strangely. Zhao Fu felt quite strange. Is this because I attacked the scarecrows and got injured? After thinking for a moment, Zhao Fu's body retreated, and the scarecrows did the same. They did not just blur Zhao Fu, but they also used some sort of power to synchronize with Zhao Fu. This was why their actions were the same as Zhao Fu's, and the damage they received would be reflected on Zhao Fu's body. Then why didn't he attack these straws? Zhao Fu walked forward, and so did the scarecrow. Both of them walked forward step by step. Zhao Fu also became more careful, on guard against the scarecrow's attacks. This was the sorcerer tribe's holy land, and they could only use sorcery power. Zhao Fu's power was greatly reduced. These scarecrows walked forward in a daze. They did not seem to have any intention of attacking Zhao Fu. The moment they walked past, Zhao Fu felt his surroundings change. Zhao Fu was once again standing in front of Zhao Fu. The scarecrows were once again standing in front of Zhao Fu. It was an extremely strange sight. Zhao Fu also had a headache. How do we get to this place? Outside the sacred grounds, there were also many people who were paying attention to Zhao Fu, because Zhao Fu was a strong candidate to become the young clan leader, and they also knew about this place. The scholarly-looking middle-aged man said, "That place is quite strange." The person who built that tomb was an extremely famous expert in the sorcerer tribe. The beautiful woman in the red dress smiled as she said, "I was trapped there before and spent a lot of effort to escape. Even genius-level sorcerer's sons find it difficult to pass through." The scholarly-looking man nodded and said, Any attacks there are meaningless, and they will only reflect back at one's body. He can only use other methods to pass through. Let's see what method he'll use. I'm quite curious about this." Zhao Fu stood there, thinking about how to pass through. He could faintly sense that this was an ethereal and mysterious sorcery power. Seeing that Zhao Fu was not moving, the scarecrows slowly raised their hands and vigorously hit their heads, causing Zhao Fu's head to ache. Zhao Fu angrily looked at the scarecrows, but he did not have time to think about anything. He activated the fate dragon within his body, and traces of pure fate flowed out of Zhao Fu's body. Fate was the best thing to defend against some mysterious and mystical powers, such as curses, divination, and prophecies. Anyone who used a curse or divination on Zhao Fu would suffer a backlash from fate, so Zhao Fu immediately used his fate to defend. Everyone sensed Zhao Fu's fate. Even though Zhao Fu had hidden his fate, the experts could still sense some information, causing them to look quite surprised. The elderly woman said curiously, "This is Emperor's fate." The scholarly-looking man felt quite curious as well. Very few people in the primal chaos world have Emperor's fate, and this person's Emperor's fate seems to be quite powerful. Just who is he? The beautiful woman in the red dress said, "I think he's an imperial prince or an emperor." The valiant-looking young man frowned. Then his identity is even more strange. If he's an imperial prince, we should be able to investigate his identity. Also, how did an imperial prince obtain our witch race's legacy? The elderly woman said seriously, "There are more and more suspicious things about him. We need to pay more attention to him." The scholarly-looking man said seriously, "I've been paying attention to him from the very beginning, and I feel that his identity is quite terrifying. I hope that he won't bring harm to the witch race." The cold-looking woman said, "I hope that Wu Ying can suppress him. I don't want someone like him to become our witch race's young clan leader. He'll definitely cause a lot of trouble in the future." Back at Zhao Fu, she looked at him. After Zhao Fu's body gave off a large amount of fate, the scarecrow's movements seemed to become even slower. This meant that Zhao Fu's attack was effective. Zhao Fu once again walked forwards, and the scarecrows also walked forward slowly and clumsily. Zhao Fu gave off an even greater amount of fate as he continued to walk forwards. The scarecrows slowly stopped and stood there without moving, and the blood-red light in their eyes dimmed. Seeing this, Zhao Fu smiled and walked past the scarecrows. In that instant, the scenery around him rapidly changed, and Zhao Fu returned to his original spot. The scarecrows stood in front of him, and the scene was the same as before. What's going on? Zhao Fu thought about it and felt a headache coming on. Perhaps the change in location had nothing to do with the scarecrows, and perhaps it was because of this space. Zhao Fu sent a large amount of fate into his eyes, causing them to give off a spiritual light. Zhao Fu continued to walk forwards, and the scarecrows did not move. When Zhao Fu walked past the scarecrow, Zhao Fu saw a thin layer in his eyes. He immediately stretched out his hand and pressed down with a large amount of fate. Bang! A muffled sound rang out as the thin layer shattered. Zhao Fu's body stopped there and did not return to his original spot. Zhao Fu continued to walk forwards and did not return to his original spot. Now that this matter had been resolved, Zhao Fu let out a sigh of relief. Zhao Fu continued to walk along the passageway. 10 or so minutes later, Zhao Fu came before a 10-meter-tall bronze statue. This bronze statue was of an old man wearing sorcerer robes. He had a bone crown on his head and held a short wooden staff. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.